I was talking on mute. So, hello, everybody. I hope you're having a good night. Let me see who's here. I was talking on mute. And now I have my audio playback on mute on my phone. I'm sorry. But okay, I have Jay here. Hello, Misfit, Shay. Nice to see you. Let me see. Pointer Lever, Grace, Kathy. Good to see you. Edward, K-Braze, always good to see you. Let me see who else. I don't want to miss anyone. The crazy crime chick. Hello, good to see you. I am Christ. I think that I have everyone. Thank you all for being here. So, was everybody shocked by the news? Or what did you think? If you were shocked by the news, will you put a 1? And also, hopefully, you all hear me. So, 1 that you can hear me. And also, let me know if you were shocked by everything. Hi, Tonga girl. Hi, Jenna. Okay, Jay was shocked. Kathy was. Thank you. You can hear me. 1, 1, 1. I'm seeing all ones. Aw, thank you, Shay. Not shocked. Okay, so Stephanie was not. Interesting. So I think that the reason he pled guilty was because there was so much evidence against him that there was no way, like that they showed him the evidence that there was against him and that he saw that there was no way that he was going to win the case. But I looked and it shows that they didn't offer him any kind of plea deal. So it'll be interesting to see what he gets. I saw that and I'll play it for you guys. I have a couple different videos. One that I'm super excited to show you, and it's the audio of Aiden's girlfriend at the time, and she talks about his different knives and stuff. But so it said on there. Well, has everybody seen the video already about him pleading? Put a 1 if you've seen him plea already, if you've seen the full video of his court hearing. I'm glad he did plead guilty so the family didn't have to go through all the pain. That's what Jenna said. I completely agree. I would hate for the family to have to hear all of the gruesome details and hear what Tristan had to go through and see the autopsy photos. I think that would be horrible for them to do that. And I'm just really happy they don't have to go through that. He did apologize. I know it was a short apology. I do wonder if they're going to try to, in the next one, have it be a longer, remorseful apology to them. And if he's going to look back at them, possibly. Okay, so Misfit saw only part of it. Oh, thank you, Misfit. That's so kind of you. Okay, 1, K-Braze has seen it. Edward has seen it. Kathy has not seen it. Hi, Mama Bear. Always good to see you. Okay. Oh, Princess Megan, Elsa, good to see you. And Angel's Eye to keep control. Good to see you too. So Princess hasn't seen it. All right, so I have a few different videos to show. I could show the whole entire. It's 19 minutes, I believe. So it's not incredibly long, and I could pause it. I was very kind of surprised to hear Aiden's voice. But I'm coming from me, that says a lot. But yeah, so if you want to watch the whole 19 video, I can play it and pause it. Otherwise, I do have a couple different videos. One of them I have is a retired homicide detective, and he goes over how he thinks that Aiden is pure evil. Another one is it shows a lot of different pictures of Tristan, and also goes over the plea deal, the change of the plea deal, the medications that Aiden is on, like the mood stabilizers, antidepressants. Another one has a defense attorney speaking about how they feel about what they would do if they we're in his case because there's still the sentencing hearing. So let me know. And again, of course, I want to play the audio of, it's audio. There's no video, but it's audio of Aiden's girlfriend at the time because she is a minor, so they're not going to show her. But let me know if you want to start with the full hearing. I'm not going to do Aiden's girlfriend right away, but let me know what you'd like to start with. Hey, Avery, so good to see you. I think I saw you. Maybe I imagined it. I swear I saw Avery. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to start with. Okay, the fact he is on lithium is mind-blowing for his age. Yes, I know that is a very strong medication. And when he said, like, what's the highest grade that you've gone or passed, and he said 8th grade, it really showed how young he really is. Okay, Avery said, yes, I'm here, so I'm not crazy. Now I can't find the comment to highlight it, but she's here. All right, so I just got to decide what, there she is. I got to decide, okay, I'll play that in a few, definitely. Okay, Edward, hello, good to see you. Play it all, okay. Jay, I would love to see all of them. Thank you. All right, let me get one ready for you guys. So talk among yourselves while I get them ready. And if anybody that I spoke to earlier would like to come up, no pressure, but you know I'd like you to come up.
Hi everyone, Mark Barden here.
One moment. This is why I need someone else to be keeping you guys company while I'm doing this.
A last-minute change before a long-awaited murder trial in St. Johns County. The teenager accused of murdering...
Okay, let me know if you can even see the screen right now. So I think I have 2 things up. Okay, can you see the screen? If you can see the screen, can you put a 1? Okay, thank you, Jenna. All right, I'll put the volume up as well.
Bailey changes his plea to guilty.
Aiden Fucci still faces life behind bars. Now, to break all of this down for us is On Your Side's Renata DiGregorio. So, Renata, his guilty plea, quite the surprise this morning.
It was a big surprise. Potential jurors were waiting in another room in the courthouse, getting ready for the jury to be picked. The jury selection and the trial were expected to last multiple weeks. Now, what this guilty plea means is that Fucci is pleading guilty to first-degree murder, stabbing 13-year-old Tristan Bailey 114 times when he was 14 years old. The courtroom was planning to show nearly 50 photos of Bailey, and we're hearing now from some people in the community saying that they're glad the Bailey family will not have to go through that in the trial. So moving forward, the defense says they need 10 days to compile a witness list and discovery before the sentencing. The sentencing hearing is expected to last 2 days, and they'll be back in court February 23rd to decide on a date for that. Towards the end of the relatively short court appearance this morning, Fucci's attorney said he wanted to make this statement.
Mr. Fucci, is it your desire to enter a plea of guilty to 1 count of first-degree murder?
Yes, sir. And I'm sorry for the Bailey family and my family.
Fucci still faces possible life behind bars with the possible review of his sentence after 25 years. Now, very few people were allowed in the courtroom, but one of those people was our executive producer, Ann Schindler. Ann, tell us about the mood in the courtroom. A lot of people couldn't be in there, so you have the insight.
Yeah, it was actually a really empty courtroom because we expected it to be packed out with jurors.
Shay, I sent
Shortly
it.
before the defendant entered the courtroom, though, the family entered and kind of took the first 2 rows, so we knew something was developing. Aiden Fucci was the first time we'd seen him not wearing a jumpsuit, a jail jumpsuit, so he was in a suit and tie today. But a reminder of just how young he was when the judge was doing his interrogatories and asking him, if he was in fact pleading guilty. He asked him how far he'd gotten in school, and he said 8th grade. So again, just kind of a reminder of just the unusual nature of this case all around.
Yeah, definitely when they said 8th grade, it kind of hits you like, oh yeah, they are still in middle school. And we did learn a little bit about Fucci as well that we didn't know before. Can you explain about that?
Yeah, that's right. So one of the things that the judge has to do in assessing and kind of finalizing that plea is to ask if they're under the influence of any medication. He said he was, and he listed off 3 drugs that are antidepressants and antipsychotics. So, whether or not his mental health will be a mitigating factor, something that's introduced to the judge at sentencing for a possibly more lenient sentence, something that could come up. We just don't know.
And as far as the Bailey family, we've gotten word that they are expected to release a statement a little later on today. We do not know anything. They're not releasing anything right now, though. So be sure to tune in, though, because we'll be back here at First Coast News at 5, and we'll have that statement and, of course, more continuing coverage on this. But for now, we're going to send things back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for that, Renata Gregorio and Ann Schindler there in St. Johns County. Now, with this news coming in the past couple of hours, it leaves a lot of questions about the next steps.
So Jeannie Blaylock is speaking with our legal analyst about all of this to talk more about those next steps. Jeannie.
Yeah, let's do that. What does happen next? Let's talk now to our legal analyst, Shannon Schott. She is an expert on juvenile law, a defense attorney. We appreciate your joining us. You just got off the phone with a private attorney for Tristan Bailey's family. What did he tell you?
They will be issuing a statement around 4 o'clock this afternoon, and they're ready to make a statement about the shocking development in this case.
A lot of people use.
So they did actually make a statement after this, and I will play that statement. And let me see. Oh, here's Shay. Hi, Shay. How are you?
Hey, Val. How are you?
Good. So, yeah, are you shocked about it? And thank you for coming up and keeping me company. I was like all nervous before. So thank you.
I was like, are you going to send us the link? I mean, no, you're welcome. I don't know if I'm shocked. I think it makes sense. I think it's probably the most logical thing within as much evidence was against him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In his conduct, like while he's been in prison.
I agree. And one of the things that is in the interviews, it goes over if he can go over the insanity plea, if he could try and plead that, and he can't do it, even though he tried so hard. But I guess they could see through his acting skills too.
The demons.
Right? The demons, they were taking his soul, but I don't know.
Oh, I can't with him. I'm sorry. I don't mean to make fun. I know I told Val and Crime Time with Mal earlier. I was like, can we just put Brian Koberger and Aiden in jail together and let them fight it out?
Yeah, if he gets out of solitary confinement, though, I don't think he's going to do that well in jail.
Oh, well, I don't know, but it was interesting, though, because you're going to play, are you going to play like the court part?
Yeah, I have a few different clips that I can never decide what to play, but and then I just always just play like, I play everything. I play like 5 minutes of a 2-hour video. But yeah, let me finish playing this one. And there was an article that I was going to read, which I was planning on doing first, and I forgot to read that article. But yeah, I'll finish playing this right now. But unless you want to say hi to everyone, and Alsane's laughing at me. Alsane always loves to laugh at me.
It's probably like the demons.
Demons taking my soul.
Austin has seen everything in colors ever since his Android switched up. He's been in hog heaven over there tripping.
I'm sometimes seeing it too, though. Like we are both. I'll send you a picture of it. Like I'm not seeing it right now on StreamYards, but I'm seeing it sometimes too, and it's really weird. But so I know what he's talking about. But here, let me finish playing this, and we will discuss.
using the word surprise, shock, dramatic. Nobody expected it. You were surprised greatly as well by this change of events today. And so what happened? Why the last minute?
I just got chills. It is very shocking and surprising. And it's interesting that they chose to do it on the morning of jury selection. But that's really the last opportunity that a defendant has to change his plea and give the family some solace and give the state an opportunity to not have to go through the process of proving the case beyond a reasonable doubt. And perhaps he and his team thought from a strategic standpoint, he would win some favor with the court when it comes time for sentencing.
So you'd win favor by the court, presumably because you leave the family without having to hear so much of a trial day after day after day. But doesn't the judge see through that?
Certainly, there may be a question as to whether or not that remorse is sincere, and that will be a question for the judge alone to decide. But certainly, there is an argument to be made that he spared the family from the medical examiner's testimony, which was going to be extremely difficult for everyone involved.
You were telling me when I talked to you earlier today that remorse is an enormous factor.
Mm-hmm.
The judge has to believe that he is sincerely sorry. Now, we heard him give a statement. You all just heard that now. It was very, very short today.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that helped him win some points with the judge, or would you have advised him differently?
So under Florida law, remorse cannot be considered in sentencing unless the defendant raises it as an issue. I think that when you set the tone for your sentencing hearing by saying, I'm sorry, that just gives a little bit of a preview as to what's coming. And there will be an
What did you think of his apology? Did it seem genuine? And were you taken off back by his voice? What did you think about it?
Yes, the voice, definitely. But that's kind of what I was a little shocked to hear was the apology. I wondered if it was genuine. I didn't know if that was like a gimmick or if that was genuine. So hopefully he I don't know if he'll get to make a statement or if it'll just be the family at this sentencing. I don't really know how that works in Florida. Because here in Texas, the victims' families get to make statements at the sentencing hearings.
A lot of people in chat are saying they feel like it's a front, that they didn't believe it. It seemed weak. Yeah, that they didn't believe that he was remorseful.
Agreed.
So someone is Angel's lie to keep control said, is it possible that he might get out? So they said a minimum of 40, but they said he will get a review in 25 years. So that kind of seems like it clashes with each other, because they're saying a minimum of 40, but he also gets a review in 25 years. So then so if he got out in 40, he would be 50. Would it be 56? Or I'm not sure. I think that was the math that I did on it, unless I did it wrong. But I was thinking 56. But if he got out in 25, that would be crazy. But it said a minimum of 40. I mean, they said a review in 25. So that was one of the videos as well. But let me finish playing this one. So I don't know. Let me see what the chat saying. Stephanie saying in 25 years they will review. So yes, he could get out. And Avery said yes, the judge told him he can say that at sentencing. I believe that's about the remorseful statement. So premeditated. He had 113 times to stop himself. Yes. Graceful. He has 2 reviews since he is a juvenile. Yes, that is really scary, Princess Megan Elsa. So do you think that he's going to get life? Misfit said life. I mean, that's what I was thinking at first, but I mean, I'm not sure.
Well, he's still going to get the 25-year review because it goes back to the Maddie Clifton case where she was killed and stuffed into the bed of her neighbor, and he was tried as an adult. And then I know that they were pushing for laws to allow for review after a child has gone through the system to be reviewed again, their case, to see if rehabilitation has helped as their mind has developed.
Well, so they are, like I said, they have him on psychotics or depressants and mood stabilizers. So they are, it seems, I'm hoping, working with him. Unless they're just giving him medication. I mean, do you think that they are helping them as well?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he's diagnosed with, so there's no telling.
Yeah, because those can help like different things. Like I said, for mood stabilizers, for depression. I read for bipolar as well. So, and I think the defense is going to use that as well. That he was not medicated at the time, maybe, and that he needed it to be medicated, and that he is now. So now he's of sound mind. Because they said, like, are you of sound mind? And he said, I am. And he's on his medication that he said he took last night. But here, let me finish playing this. And Lady V, hello, good to see you. Someone said most of the meds were for bipolar. Yeah, I knew Remeron and lithium. I don't remember what the third one was. If anyone remembers what the third one was, if you can put that in chat, unless you remember, Shay.
I cannot off the top of my head. I'm sorry. And apparently Mal is text messaging and not in chat, and she wants you to know that Aiden's voice is completely different. That was her response.
To me, he sounds like he's trying to sound, even though I've brought Eminem up a million times, but he sounds like he's trying to sound like Eminem, which would be crazy in a court hearing, but that's what it sounds like. He's trying to sound like Eminem to me.
I thought he tried to sound like he was kind of, I don't know, like he was trying to like sound like he had some street cred. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Which is he's trying to sound tough in court. All
Like,
right.
sit down with your little punk ass.
Right? But all right, let me finish playing this, and then I'll get to another video or read something, and then I want to get to that audio soon. So one moment, please.
Emphasis on his remorse made by the defense, and what we've now heard is going to be a 2-day sentencing hearing.
Now, how would you evaluate that sentence? It was very, very short, as I say. Do you think that made the first impression that was what you would want it to make for the judge?
He's a teenage boy with limited developmental skills and limited communication skills. There will be work that has to be done to really communicate his remorse to the judge. I don't think that's the be-all, end-all when it comes to what the court's going to consider for remorse. But based on that sentence, there's certainly work that needs to be done.
How would you coach him to become more sincere sounding, perhaps, if you were his defense attorney?
Well, what the job of the defense attorney is basically to present that mitigation or good information. And there will be an element of drafting a more detailed statement, potentially if they're going to raise the issue of remorse and bring that in as mitigation or good information. And there just needs to be work done on the way that it's communicated, what is said, other than just, I'm sorry. I don't know that that's sufficient for the court to consider. There needs to be a lot more that goes into that statement. And there just needs to be thought. So when we work with our juvenile offenders, we always encourage them to really take time to write their letters of apology and be very sincere when they write it.
So let's talk more about why this was a last minute thing. We've been seeing through public documents in our newscast the last couple of days about statements that he supposedly made in jail to other inmates. Basically, I don't know if bragging is the correct word, but saying that he was the one with a knife to somebody's face and trying to keep them from either assaulting him or I don't know, overcoming him in some way in prison. Do you think that had an effect in this last minute change?
Certainly, there are a number of factors that could have affected whether or not he was going to plead guilty or proceed to trial. But it's definitely important to note that some of the inmates that he was incarcerated with are listed on the witness list. It is possible that the state was going to bring those witnesses to testify about statements that were made by Mr. Fucci that only the killer would have known. So in light of that, that evidence could have been the last straw for his attorneys to say, look, you are going to be convicted. And if you plea now and save the family the trial, maybe we can do something with that information. But it sounds like in the last few days, there's been a lot of developments with the witness list and who will be testifying and the testimony that's coming out.
So let's clear up the possible sentences and what kind of punishment he could get. We've been seeing lots of talk on social media. You and I chatted about this. People saying, well, he's not going to get life in prison. I mean, nobody knows that. It's up to a judge. It's not a jury at this point for the sentencing hearing. But at 40 years, there would be some kind of possible change. But there's a review before that if he gets life in prison at 25 years. What happens in a review? What does that mean? Could he walk free?
Yes. So Florida law has a lot of rules. In the last 10 years, we have codified or made laws that talk about juvenile sentencing. And this is where my expertise really comes in, because when you have a juvenile offender charged as an adult, there's two things happening. You have a juvenile case and juvenile rules that apply to him right now. So they actually ordered a juvenile predisposition report. And then you have the possibility of an adult sanction as well. So he could either be sentenced as a juvenile and he would be incarcerated until he's 21 and the court loses jurisdiction, or he would be sentenced as an adult to 40 years to life. And if he's sentenced to 40 years or more, or life, he would be reviewed at 25 years. And if the court determines based on a bunch of factors that he should be released back into society, he would be released and then put on a minimum 5-year probation.
So at minimum, he will be in prison 25 years. After that, we don't know. All right.
Correct.
Shannon, we appreciate your help. We'll
Thank you.
be talking to you.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's crazy that he could get out in 25 years.
I do too. But I don't know if he will.
Yeah, I don't know. In chat, what do you think? Do you think that he's going to get life in prison? And if you do think he's going to get, well, first I want to ask that, and then I'm going to ask about parole. But if you think he's going to get life in prison, put a 1. How are your classes going, Lady V? Oh, I didn't even make a background this time at all.
Are you feeling dark and empty?
Yeah, black.
I've seen some cute little Valentine's Day ones.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Markel Jim said no. Okay, you don't think he will get life. You do. Okay, 1, life. 2, no. Okay, so for the people that don't think he's going to get life, what do you think that he's going to get? And the ones, and also, do you think that he's going to get, the ones that you do think he's going to get life, do you think he will get paroled? Possibly.
I don't know. I mean, Tristan's family wouldn't allow the plea deal.
Yeah, K-Bray says he's going to get Bubba.
Oh, really?
Alsane says not long enough. Edward possibly could get parole. I hope not. Life with parole. Jenna thinks. Jay says, I don't think he'll make parole. Her family will not let her be forgotten. And Elisa says, hey, Shay. Or hello, Shay. All right.
I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on these with the kids ones because I know we're probably not where we're at in society today, not to go there, but I would like to see a better rehabilitation system. I mean, I know you can't, there's certain people that maybe not able to rehabilitate back into society, but I hate to see a kid just waste his life away, and doesn't mean he doesn't deserve punishment. It sucks. The whole situation sucks because 2 families lose a kid.
Oh, I know.
And one more than the others.
Yeah. And I know that a lot of people have so much hate towards Aiden's mom. I don't know how I feel about that situation. I'm not a mom. So I know you are, so maybe you'd have better input on that. So I don't know what I would do in that situation.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit whenever we went over it. I'm still kind of hooked on, I just don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
But I haven't been in that situation. So
hopefully I don't think you'll ever be in that situation.
I hope not either, but I do think she should be held accountable, like Norcal Jim says. I really do. I think that, as an adult, like, you're able to make the right and wrong decisions, and I don't get it. Like, maybe she's just scared because she's going to lose her son, but I mean, wouldn't you want to know why? Like, I would have so many questions. I'd be like, take him and get him psych eval'd right now if I were his mother.
Yeah, no, exactly. that I would, I mean, because I'm sure that there were signs. If all he was telling all his friends this, I believe that his mom saw signs. I just truly believe that. And I still think those cameras were for Aiden. But let me read this real quick. And it says, Florida teen Aiden Fucci pleads guilty in fatal stabbing of 13-year-old cheerleader Tristan Bailey. A disturbed Florida teen pleaded guilty Monday to the gruesome 2021 murder of 13-year-old in a quiet suburb of Jacksonville. Aiden Fucci, now 16, entered the surprise plea on the day he was set to face trial for stabbing Tristan Bailey 114 times and leaving her body in a wooded area near their community. And he said in a statement, I just want to say I plead guilty and I'm sorry for the Bailey family and my family. Fucci said in a brief statement to the court Monday. Fucci is being charged as an adult, and prosecutors stressed that they did not offer him any leniency in sentencing as part of the plea agreement. He is not eligible for the death penalty because he committed the heinous crime while still a 14-year-old minor. Here is a picture of Tristan. Another picture. Fucci's friends told investigators he openly fantasized about violence and murder in the months leading up to the killing, and that he selected his classmate as a target in a fit of rage. So this is another thing that said that Tristan was his target. And he would often draw pictures of mutilated bodies and confide to pals that he heard voices in his head telling them to kill innocents. He supposedly said that to his girlfriend as well. Associates told detectives he had a turbulent home life and would indulge in dark fantasies as a way to cope with the turmoil. Bailey had been socializing with Fucci and another classmate before the crime, and she was last seen on surveillance camera in a cul-de-sac around 1:45 a.m. Her family reported her missing after she failed to appear for a Mother's Day breakfast with her family later that morning. Prosecutors in the St. Johns County Sheriff's Department both stressed that Bailey, a popular local teenager in the normally tranquil neighborhood, had dozens of defensive wounds that indicated a violent struggle for her life. Fucci apologized to the Bailey's family and his own family during a statement. And here it just shows, like, he barely had any wounds. There's another one that's like, so there's a little scratch here, like a little cut, and then there's this. That's like nothing, and like maybe a bruise, but he barely got, it's crazy that it was such a violent crime and he barely got hurt. So it kind of makes you think of Brian Koberger, that like, how hurt did he get during the crime?
Oh, don't get me started.
Okay, we won't. We'll leave that for another night.
Yes, I've been down the rabbit hole hard.
Yeah, I know you have. His killer appeared to revel in the attention he received in the hours after the slaughter, posting several Snapchat videos, which we all saw last time, showing him in the back of the police car before an initial interview. Fucci's mother was also later arrested and charged with evidence tampering after she attempted to wash the blood out of her son's blood-soaked gore-soaked jeans after the incident. The troubled teen had been repeatedly cited for misconduct while in jail, bragging about the grisly crime and threatening both inmates and staffers who crossed his path. He faces maximum life in prison, and again, he will be reviewed after 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I meant to read in the beginning, but it didn't happen.
You did good.
But should I play the audio now, I guess?
Yeah, go ahead and play it.
All right, because I have a few more things. I know I've only been on for 34 minutes. So I was going to wait to play it after like an hour, but...
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, this is kind of, it's, I mean, we don't have sentencing. Like, it's pretty clear cut and dry right now, you know?
Yeah, and I could play it if anyone's here at the end that wasn't here in the beginning, maybe play it again. But yeah, let me get that. But yeah, I have a few different videos to play. So, and then if anyone wants to watch the full beginning to the end, oh, and like I said, I really want to play the one with the homicide detective where he talks about that this was just pure evil.
And Pointer Lover said not one of his friends ever spoke up about him, not to an adult.
Nope.
Not to an adult. And I think that's what's sad is that apparently he had talked about it with friends, his girlfriend, and it's just disappointing that nobody saw the signs and told a parent or a teacher or somebody.
All right, I'm just getting the video right now. It's playing a stupid ad, so that's what I'm just waiting for that to go through.
We gotta get you premium, girl.
I know, right? Okay, I have it ready now. Let me know if you can see it in just 1 minute. All right. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yay. And the next thing is if you can hear it. And well, there's nothing really to see. It's just a black screen. But let me know. Let me know if you can hear it. I have it at the highest volume. Okay, so this is Aiden Fucci's girlfriend at the time of the killing. And she talks about the different knives that he had, picker and poker. And yeah, let's hear what she has to say.
Aiden kept knives for protection. He
Okay.
always had a knife on him if he wasn't at school. He would keep his AirPods. He listened to music to try and calm him down. He said that helped him with his anger.
When you say he kept knives, was it usually a different knife? Did he have one that he was partial to that was like his favorite? Or
He had like a few. He didn't really say he had a favorite. He just had knives, and sometimes he'd bring one or another. Or
did he say any? Did he have? I mean, when you say knives, we're talking like
just like pocket knives,
like folding pocket
Yeah,
knives.
like they would fold up and.
Okay. If you had to describe any of them that you can remember, could you tell me about what they looked like?
Yeah. Well, there was mainly two that he would have on him, and it was one that his stepdad gave him. It was like a kind of gray, black, like army-looking one. It had a skull on it, maybe like an orange skull on it or something, and he called it Picker.
Okay.
Because it had, I guess, teeth. The knife had.
You mean like it had a serrated edge?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he have any others that he kept?
Yeah.
Normally.
There was another one. It was like yellow, and it was like it was made out of wood, I think.
Okay.
And he called that one.
Did it look like this?
Yeah.
Did it look like it, or is that the same type of knife?
That's the same knife.
Okay. And just so you understand, I'm holding a folding buck knife.
Yeah.
With a brass frame, right? And a wooden handle. Okay. So you've seen him carry a knife like that?
Yeah.
Pretty commonly.
Yeah, it was mainly those two.
Okay.
He broke one of them.
And I think I cut you off. You were saying he called it something.
He called one Picker, and then he called that one Poker.
There I go with my ads again. But hold on, I think that is everything, right? That was, I'm pretty sure, the full interview.
Well, it says 1 to 2. Okay, there it is. Yeah. That's so disturbing.
I know, right? And she knew all this. He was coming up behind her, like pretending to use the knives on her, telling her he had the 38-day window. And there's reports now saying that Tristan was his target, yet no one did anything.
I don't even know what to think right now. It irritates me.
NorCal Jim said, when people start naming their knives, call for help. Right?
Well, exactly. Agree.
Crime Time with Mal said his voice is so different, I can't get over it. That's what we were just talking about. I said he sounds like he's trying to sound like Eminem. And Shay said it sounds like he's trying to get street cred, right? Something like that.
Yeah, he does. I think so.
Hard to listen to, Misfit said. Or, yeah, exactly, Jay. That's what he would do to his girlfriend.
I wonder, like, what his friends think now, like, after the fact.
Well, they would have all been witnesses. Bless you if you sneeze. But it said that they would have been called as witnesses in the trial if he didn't plead guilty.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, that
Whoa.
might be in another one of my videos if I didn't play, because I have like 3 videos to play, so that might be in another one. But yeah, let me get to one of the other ones. Mal, if you want to come up, or you're welcome to. But yeah, let me get to one of the other ones. If you want to say hi to chat, you're welcome to do that.
I got it. Hello, everybody. You're welcome, Mal. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe this. It's such a sad lesson too, to also like teach your children to, keep their ears open and hear for signs, whether it's things that are disturbing like this or other situations of sadness. Oh, I'll sing. I'm not singing a song right now. I want to leave that to for Aiden, actually, since he's got his street cred. Avery, you're still in shock. I'm not. I really just didn't think that. I don't really think that they had a case against it. And with his conduct that, I don't know, months before, I mean, he was just in so much trouble. Like, he couldn't keep out of it.
This is a legal analyst that just goes over it. But then I also, like I said, I have the defense attorney and the retired homicide detective that goes over how he thinks that he's just pure evil and the evidence that they think that they had against him and why he pleaded the way that he did. So I don't know exactly what's in what video because I just have them all together. But here, at least this time I have like 4 videos instead of 20. So that's one good thing. So let me get this started.
It's a surprise.
We're talking about the shocking turn in court today in the trial of Aiden Fucci. He now says he did it. He's guilty of stabbing to death his classmate, Tristan Bailey, in St. Johns County. The teenager's body was found in a woods on Mother's Day back in May of 2021. This case has upset so many people. So let's dig into what happens next. Shannon Schott is a legal analyst here for us, and she is an attorney and an expert on juvenile law. And we appreciate your being with us. This dramatic change, this announcement in court today, is it possible it would give Fucci a lighter sentence?
Not necessarily. It could be considered as mitigation or good information for the judge when he ultimately sentences Aiden Fucci, as saving the family from the added trauma of having to go through the trial.
So let's talk about remorse. You're saying that is very, very important. I'm sure you all have seen, we're about to play for you again here. The only statement from Fucci in court today, it was very short.
Mr. Fucci, is it your desire to enter a plea of guilty to 1 count of first-degree murder?
Yes, sir. And I'm sorry for the Bailey family and my family.
This mistake is costing Amazon Prime shoppers big. Are you still using Prime? Because at this point.
So that was the entire statement. It was very short. How important is convincing the judge that you are truly sorry? And do you think that was a good start or maybe not?
Whenever you're sentenced in Florida, remorse is not allowed to be considered unless the defense raises the issue. I think making that decision to say, I'm sorry, and maybe the defense attorneys weren't aware he was going to say this, but saying you're sorry raises that issue. And now you've kind of started the sentencing hearing off on this path of remorse. It will be very hard for the defense attorneys to fully help Aiden Fucci articulate sincere remorse in this case, because let's not forget he's been incarcerated. His ability to communicate is maybe not as strong, and that will be an uphill battle for the defense to really show sincere remorse.
So in this case, not a particularly great first impression, you're saying?
I don't know that I would have advised him to make that statement. And I think if there was going to be a statement, it needed to land a little bit more. There's a question about the sincerity of the statement that was made.
So we have already seen Fucci doing some things that are questionable, if not contrary to I'm feeling sorry for you all. And one of those was in the back of a police car. Now, this was a Snapchat video that was posted, and the text message, the Snapchat message said on the screen, "Hey guys, has anybody seen Tristan lately?" And this was after, now we know, that he stabbed Tristan to death. He always talks about having fun in a police car. So how does the defense deal with that type of stuff that's already out there on social media? And will the judge be showing that if he hasn't already seen it in the sentencing hearing?
Absolutely. The state's going to show over and over that Aiden Fucci is not remorseful. But to that point, the defense would need to show why maybe he's not able to express remorse, or maybe there's some issue in his past through the testimony of experts who have analyzed him, who have interviewed him, and perhaps provided treatment. And as we know now, he is on antipsychotic medications, antidepressant medications, and there's certainly going to be a question as to whether he has the capacity to show remorse.
Let's talk more about the sentencing hearing. For one thing, on the 23rd of February, it's not going to be all decided that day, right? It's more like a procedural thing.
From what we understand, they're asking for at least 2 days to have the hearing. So yes, I don't expect it to happen on the 23rd.
And it's a lot of preparation, you say, for the defense.
Absolutely. The defense should be gathering mitigation, or that good information that we talked about, from the day he was arrested. They're going to tell the story of Aiden Fucci's life, the good, the bad, the ugly, and try to make arguments as to why he should be entitled to rehabilitation.
Thank you so much, Shay, and welcome new members. I promise we'll have new emojis in a minute. I can add like 3 more. Well, not in a minute, after this live, not this while I'm doing this live, but we will have new emojis very soon. But thank you so much, Shay.
You're welcome.
All right, let me finish playing this right now.
Through a juvenile sentence, or if he's sentenced as an adult, that he should get a lesser amount of time. But also they're laying that foundation for that 25-year review that he's going to be entitled to make sure that when he's reviewed later, the court has that information to consider, like whether or not he was abused or neglected as a child.
And so that has to be set in a court record now, and it can't be brought up again then in 25 years and say, oh yeah, by the way, he had a really tough childhood.
It should be part of the record evidence at the first sentencing hearing, in order to make sure that when it comes up for review, that record is clear that this is not something that's just being argued at this point.
So what else could we find out in the sentencing hearing that we didn't find out from, since the trial never happened? But in a trial, you always say is, did he kill her or did he not? And then that's it. What else could we find out?
You're going to hear a lot about his mental health issues, his behavioral issues, the story of his life, like I mentioned, the good, the bad, the ugly, his home life, his school records. Who is Aiden Fucci? How did we get to this point? And is there an argument to be made that he maybe shouldn't get the maximum sentence? And then, of course, the state will bring in all of that inadmissible evidence that we probably would not have heard at trial, that really hammers home the arguments that they and the sheriff have made. And I think the word that they used was monster at one point.
So to answer some people's questions, I still hear people today saying, is there any chance that he could just maybe go for a mental health or incapacitable, or what word am I looking for?
Incapacity.
Yeah, incapacity, right. Thank you. Can he go for that, like the insanity defense, or is it too late?
It's too late at this point. Whether or not he's competent to proceed could potentially happen between now and the sentencing hearing. It's unlikely that will happen. But if at a later date, when he's under a sentence, he becomes incapacitated and incompetent, then he will be treated through whatever department is currently housing him and given mental health treatment.
And because he's a juvenile, the death penalty is totally off the table. That's not going to happen.
Totally off the table.
So let's go back. 2005, the Supreme Court said that juveniles cannot receive the death sentence. But since then, a lot of things have changed. Florida court cases have been involved. And what do you do if a child, a juvenile, is sentenced to life in prison? Talk about that.
Yeah, so in 2005, the Supreme Court basically said we don't execute children in the United States. And since then, there's been many cases that talk about the procedure, the proper procedure, and whether and who can get a life sentence as a juvenile. It's really only the most culpable individuals in a homicide. So at this point, we have so much legislation and so many laws on the book, so many rules of procedure to help attorneys like me and the defense attorneys and state attorneys.
That is awesome. That's how he spelled
know
it.
exactly what needs to be done and what findings need to be made in order to make sure that whatever sentence is handed down is a fair and just sentence.
And let's talk about what could happen as far as the sentencing. At most, he could be in prison for how long? What's the minimum?
Sure. So because he's a juvenile, there's kind of a parallel case going on in the juvenile courts. The judge ordered what's called a predisposition report, which has to be considered. And the judge essentially has to rule out the reasonableness and the appropriateness of a juvenile sentence. So the least amount of time he's looking at is probably an incarceration in a juvenile facility until he's 21 years old. The most amount of time is going to be life in prison with a minimum of 40 years at the short end of an adult sentence. And so the judge has to determine if punishment is appropriate in an adult sentence or if rehabilitation is appropriate in a juvenile sentence.
So looking back at data on how often either goes to the juvenile sentencing side or the adult sentencing side, which is more frequent?
So when a child ends up in adult court, it's because the state has.
So it's interesting. They're saying that in juvenile, he could get rehabilitation. So I don't really know exactly how it works. I need to look more into it. So I'm wondering, like, I know they don't really get that much mental health treatment in jail, but I guess that in juvenile, maybe that he would be able to go to therapy.
Yes.
Okay, so then, I mean,
I believe so, but Graceful might be able to help you answer. I know she's our Florida psych guru. I do believe so, but I mean, he committed an adult crime, in my opinion. Does anyone remember? Are you on mute, Val?
Yes, I was.
I'm like,
Thank you. I'm like talking and everything about it. Hi, Nora's grandmother. If you didn't hear, I don't think you heard me say hello. So, does anyone remember back like 20 years ago, maybe a young teen boy, 14, killed a 4-year-old boy in his neighborhood? I don't even remember the state or his name, but the teen had red hair and glasses. I don't remember. Oh, you do? I don't remember that.
Yeah, I can't remember the name, but I do. I'm gonna go look it up because I hate not remembering.
Okay.
And Graceful is responding to you, so you know the answer.
Okay, in a residential juvenile facility, he will get treatment. Okay. So he'll get treatment until he's 18, and then he'll go to jail, and then it'll, I guess, stop completely. All right.
So she's saying juvenile equals rehabilitation, adult equals punishment.
Got
Eric
it.
Smith, I think is his name, in Pennsylvania, the 20-year-old. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, therapy and treatment isn't going to do diddly if Aiden doesn't give, he isn't going to go through the motions. Edward said that. Detective Juan, considering he is on antipsychotics now, it's possible, in my mind, that his remorse is genuine. I don't know. I do think it is going to help his case now that he is on these different medications. Not that he's going to get out or anything, but I do think he might maybe get a lesser sentence, possibly. I don't know. But here, I mean, what do you think?
Me?
Yeah. Do you think that might help, that he's on these medications? Because it looks like there was mental health issues that he wasn't dealing with, or being, they weren't prescribing him medication before that he needed to be on.
Yeah, I'm aligned with Graceful. She's like, I want to know when he got put on the meds. I don't know. I mean, that's just not my specialty, but I tend to lean towards, we saw a lot of his behavior up until recently being still very rambunctious and, a punk. and causing issues while he has been in jail awaiting trial. So he may have some sincerity that, you know, the crime happened and this is what happened to his life. I'd like to think he would get to the point where he feels remorse for what he did to Tristan, but I don't know if he's there. I mean, I don't really know if that's my place to say. I feel like it's too soon.
Yeah. Misfit said he should have been on it before. I definitely agree. Well, he said no, not going to help. Should have been on it before. But I agree. He definitely should have been on it before. 100%. Let me see. My reason is that his effect is so flat is because of all the meds. That definitely is a good possibility. It kind of, a lot of them, they say, like, makes you in like a zombie type of, not a zombie state, but just like where you have like no energy and everything like that. So a lot of them make you super tired all the time. So that would make sense. And lithium is a super heavy medication. But yeah, let me finish playing this so that I could get to the other ones.
Well, Kathy just asked, do we know if he was on meds before? I don't think we know that. It just didn't seem like what signs were there as parents were getting help. It seemed like they were trying to, my opinion, they put up those cameras, the nanny cams in the house because of him. I don't know if they were really, you know, wanting to admit that he needed further help. That's just my opinion on it.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, that's what I think too. And I don't think he was on medication before, especially since, like, I know that he has obviously gotten older, but with the way that he's kind of looks different now, I know medication can do that to you. So I think that that's in part due to the medication and he wasn't on it before, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I wonder,
Certified them-
Graceful, are they able to release his prior medication before the time of the crime, or because he's a juvenile, is that something that's like sealed? I'm just kind of curious. Because I see people asking, was he on medication before and maybe got off, you know? She said, I don't think he got him until jail. They
I
didn't
don't think
respond.
so. Yeah, I don't think so either. I think
Oh,
that's when his
interesting.
mental health was actually taken seriously.
Wow, Kathy, that's super interesting. That's good for me to know. Hey, Alley Cattails. What's up, girl?
Hey, Alley Cattail. So good to see you. Aw, thank you, Misfit. Hi, Wind Without a Knife. Okay, let me finish playing some of this so I can get through the video.
Yeah,
Hope everyone in chat is doing good.
As an adult or has indicted them. So it's really one side, the prosecutor.
Again, it's just, I can't believe with all of those stab wounds that he only had that little bit of a cut and scrape. Like, that's nothing, or bruise. That, don't you agree that that's barely any damage done to him?
Yeah. I mean, but you see the ones on his hand. You see the hand.
Yeah, but my cat can give me a bigger scratch on my hand. I'm serious. I have right now a bigger scratch from my cat.
His palm looks pretty bruised. His hand, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I think it was just all fist, like probably just
Yeah.
her throwing her body back into him to push him off.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I feel bad even talking about it, but I just looking at it. But here, let me press play. Sorry, everyone.
Making that decision. So the judge, as the referee of any case, really has an opportunity to say, you know what, this child is entitled to be rehabilitated and receive the benefits of our juvenile justice system, rather than just be sentenced as an adult where we basically throw away the key and just let them live their time in prison. It's a great opportunity for a judge to really weigh the facts and circumstances of a child's life, but it's very unusual for a child to be sentenced back to the juvenile courts. I would say, without having the data in front of me, that, you know, it's very rare. I certainly don't see it a lot in my practice, but it has happened, and there's some high-profile cases in which it has happened.
So let's talk a little bit more about that 25-year review. So after he's been in prison for 25 years, there is a review, has to be mandated by law. And so talk about the change that he could become. He could be a different person. Maybe he's not. the development of a juvenile's brain?
So we already know, and this is part of our federal jurisprudence in the Supreme Court cases, that child brain development does not complete until we're 25 years old. So since he was 14, he has basically been raised by other inmates. We hear in his voice has changed, his accent has changed. That is a product of being incarcerated. And now we know that he's been living in a box in solitary confinement. And so there can be a de-evolution of his mental state. And we don't know at what point he was put on these medications, but certainly he is not developing as a normal teenager would develop if he was not currently incarcerated. And then once he goes to prison, if that's ultimately what happens, he will be raised by other inmates and other convicted murderers and convicted criminals. And certainly that's not the environment where someone's going to maximize their potential as an individual. If he is able to do that in spite of his circumstances, certainly that would be considered in that 25-year review. And they look at the risk level, they look at the victim's next of kin and what their preferences are. They look at whether or not they are sincerely remorseful and if that remorse is sustained, and whether or not they've done anything to rehabilitate themselves, even though the system in and of itself does not seek to rehabilitate.
So you mentioned just now being raised in a box. I mean, he's already been in solitary confinement for quite a while. I've heard people today say, well, after he's sentenced, can he be in solitary confinement again?
Certainly, the executive branch of government, the sheriffs and the wardens control our jails and our prisons. And if he violates the jail rules or the prison rules, absolutely, he could be placed back in solitary confinement. However, there's just no evidence to say that just because he was in solitary in Duval, that he's going to be in solitary elsewhere. And it's possible that the prison experience could be less uncomfortable, not comfortable, but less uncomfortable than his time in the Duval County Jail.
And what does less uncomfortable mean? I mean, it's still a very dangerous environment for a juvenile, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in prisons, and there's a lot of legislation to protect juveniles and other offenders, but it's not a very exciting existence. And again, our juvenile or our adult criminal system, the intent is to punish. So you're not given any sort of luxuries, any sort of comforts in life. You're given 3 meals.
It's still crazy to think that he, like, when he said that he only went to 8th grade, that this is like an 8th grade in that environment. Just, and again, I know he did an adult crime, so we have to look at him as an adult, but still listening to her saying all the things that he's going through, and then to think about myself at that age to be going through this is just crazy. But I know obviously I would never do any of this, so he deserves everything he's going through, but it just to be in that mind, like in the solitary confinement that he's in, and like she said, that can really like hinder your brain development and everything because of what normal teens going to be experiencing at that age is so different. And I hope nobody thinks that I'm making I'm feeling any feeling bad for Aiden. I'm not at all. I'm just saying like it's what he's going to experience versus a normal. Obviously, like Tristan is not here. Tristan should be here. Aiden should. I don't want to. I'm not going to say what I think his punishment should be, but it's interesting what his now future is going to be because of this.
I mean, I'll say it. I'm from Texas. Eye for an eye.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are saying in chat that he stabbed 100, that he should get 114 times back at him.
I mean, that's where the premeditation comes from.
Yeah, he planned it for 30 days. He said he had a 30-day window. I just wish someone would have spoke out. That's what I wish more than, because this could have been prevented. This could have been prevented. There were signs and everything like that. I feel like it could have been prevented on family, and I don't want to blame the family at all, but I feel like friends, family, girlfriend, that there were signs, and that it's just a shame that it wasn't handled differently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading the comments. Oh no, go on. I'm just reading the comments to see if anyone's like, "Are you crazy?"
No, they're probably telling me I'm crazy.
Hi, Melissa. I haven't really said hi to anyone new coming in. Hi, Crazy Mama. What did Jay said? I totally agree, Val. Every red flag there could have been friends, family, and school all could have done more and more from him. He could have gotten help. Yeah, I'm curious what his school thought of him because I imagine his teachers saw signs and stuff. I bet you because he did a lot of artwork. I bet you he did artwork at his school.
Well, they
Aw,
weren't allowed
babies.
to. Remember, the artwork wasn't admissible in court.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just saying I wonder what his teachers thought because he probably brought, how you doodle at school and everything like that. And especially since he was even more interested in art, I'm assuming he probably drew while he was in classes and stuff like that. So if he did any weird, say, like satanic art or anything like that, I would think maybe his teachers did see it. And we do know he did that type of art, but so I'm thinking he probably did take it to school. So I'm wondering if any of them saw it and didn't say anything.
Well, I mean, I think that there's kind of a fine line too, and people probably throw tomatoes at me for this one though, is they kind of the spooky, gory stuff is popular, to follow, whether it's like scary movies to just all different kinds of things. So to be honest with you, the artwork can be disturbing, but I think there has to be more behind it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I
There's a
agree.
very dark, yes, crazy mama. There's a dark art kind of vibe that it's just there. I mean, if I do take stuff seriously with my daughter, but she draws weird stuff too.
Yeah,
And
you've mentioned that before. No, I know. And I'm not, there has to be, it's not if it's just one thing though, but if there's like multiple signs and then they add up, then you have to start getting worried. But if it's just one maybe thing, then not so much. But if it's like artwork and then like animals and then they're collecting knives and they have names for their names, I think you have to start getting worried then. And I don't know, but I'll finish playing the video. But Stephanie said, I know because I feel like I've gotten way off track and I've said too much, and I'm gonna probably cut this out. But Stephanie said, I think he only stopped because his tool broke. I believe so too. I think he would. He did 114. I bet if his tool, like you said, didn't break, I can't even imagine. He probably would have went up to 200 or something.
well, they found the point of the knife in
the
Justin's skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was laughing at Austin because he's like, I wonder if he talked to his knives. I was like,
I
what?
bet you. Oh my god. Austin,
It's
I bet you he
creepy.
did. Oh my, yeah. We're laughing, but it is super creepy. Oh my god. I could totally see him doing that though. Like people talk to inanimate. Oh god, I can't say it right now. Inanimate objects all the time. So I could see him like speaking to his knives for sure, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Graceful says, think about almost every school shooter has told someone before they did anything and nobody told. Kids don't want to snitch. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Graceful.
I mean,
yes, I agree. Oh, I was just reading Graceful's comment, and other people, Austin, you're not alone. Other people in chat think he talked to his tools as well.
and guys, I mean, I have some humor in some of this because, like, my kid, she just grew up loving Scooby Doo and everything dark. Like, she's just like that. And I guess she watched Sixth Sense with her dad. And I kid you not, every month I get a call from the school about her seeing dead people. And I know it's from the dang movie because everything she's describing is the scene of the movie. But it just shows how much impressionable that like movies, art, and stuff is on kids. And I wish her dad never showed her that movie. I'll be quiet now.
I've already talked too much, but no, I know it does have big impression. But here, let me finish playing this because, like I said, I have other ones that I want to play too. But is everybody good in chat? Hopefully everyone is good in chat. I always want them to be like, yeah, we're good. But I know they can't talk back. I mean, they can in chat, but I want them to be able to like hear them talk and say they're good.
A day and a roof over your head, and that's pretty much what you can expect.
So let's talk about if there had been a trial. So we know there's not going to be, but if there had been, I'm sure this was part of the decision on the defense. Can we win the case? I mean, we never know. You don't know what a jury is going to do. A 6-member jury in this case, could they have won? Were there holes in the prosecution state?
There were certainly things that, from my opinion as a defense attorney, I would like to have heard the answers to through the evidentiary process, like the blood spatter testimony. How is it that Aiden Fucci only had a speck or two of blood on his clothing? There were certainly questions as to the credibility of the witnesses who are going to testify on behalf of the state. But one of the bigger issues is that he had the right to an appeal before he entered a plea of guilty, and he has waived the right to appeal all of those issues we heard about in the weeks and months leading up to the trial.
So he's waived his right to appeal and to have a change of venue.
Yes.
So he cannot do that at all. Let's talk a little bit more of these blood specks. How would you have expounded on that in court? I mean, if you stab someone, this is horrible, but more than 100 times, how can you just have a couple specks of blood on your pants? What would you have said to the jury?
Well, that's certainly up to the state to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. But if there's a question as to how a 14-year-old boy who's presumably never murdered someone before is able to avoid being covered head to toe in blood when you stab someone 114 times, that is a question that the state would have to answer and explain through expert witness testimony, crime scene reconstruction. And so that would be something as a defense attorney that you would kind of say, that's a question that you need to look to the state jury for an answer, or else maybe there's reasonable doubt that he was not the one to have stabbed her while she was living. And certainly there could be expert testimony about, what happens with blood spatter when someone's alive or not living prior to actually being stabbed.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, and post-mortem versus like anti-mortem stab wounds and the difference between that.
So as far as all these medical photos and the terrible photos, the judge has already ruled some of them out, but I'm sure that some would be horribly difficult for the family to see. By not going through trial, will that spare the family from having to see some of this, or will the state still present some of these things in the sentencing hearing?
I think at this point, and I've talked to the attorney for the family, that is the one thing that really sticks out in my mind, that this family will not have to endure those photos, and I believe it was 50 photos of their deceased loved one mutilated on a big screen. And certainly saving the family from that trauma is very important to make a point out for the defense.
I need to pause.
However,
I'm so happy that he pled guilty so that they don't have to see these pictures and go through all of the information about her stab wounds and everything and go through a long trial. I'm just so happy that he was able to do that, even though I think it was not for reasons for her family. I don't think he did it for her family at all, but I'm so happy that he did plead guilty.
I completely agree with you too. I think that that's a really hard thing for the family to have to relive. I don't think that we're going to see the same thing with the Idaho 4 case, though, to be honest.
Oh, no, I don't. And they made a statement. I can pull it up before the trial about how it was going to be so difficult for them to be at the trial. And then they have a statement today that they did, so I can show both of those as well. But here, let me finish playing this.
State has to make a decision about the necessity of that, but it's my understanding that the state attorney's office has a very good relationship with the Bailey family, and if it's not necessary, if he's pled to it, at this point, what would be the utility of showing those photos? I think those photos just need to go away and never see the light of day.
So there were some children or some teenagers who apparently noticed his behavior was off, not expecting a teenager to think, oh my gosh, he might go as far as murdering someone, but the kinds of things that he did, the knives that he carried, picker and poker, the named of the things they would do to someone's flesh and all these sort of things. do we have any evidence that that was ever reported to adults? Is there something to that that will be brought up in the sentencing hearing?
This is absolutely what will be brought up in the sentencing hearing. Children do not just wake up one day and murder someone. That's very unusual, especially in a first-degree premeditated situation. There had to have been warning signs, and as a defense attorney, that could be mitigation, it could be good information, or it could be aggravation and used by the state. But I think it's very important to say that if there were other children who were aware of this plan and the possibility that this person could execute this plan, then certainly, why did no one say anything? Why wasn't there intervention at school or with family? Or, those are the real questions that as a defense attorney, their duty is only to Aiden Fucci. So they can certainly call into question the parenting of his parents, the decisions they made as parents, and they can call in to question how the school handled incidents prior to this, to really make the argument that this could have been avoided. And if there is an argument that this could have been avoided, as a defense attorney, that's something you're really going to want to focus on to talk about the failures in the community.
Well, one thing is for sure, everybody called her a ray of sunshine, and you just look at her face and she was so young, and just such a tragedy for the mom and the family. But it's good that the community has just rallied around them. But I always think about this mom in the middle of the night. I mean, I don't know what kind of nightmares she does or doesn't have, but as a mom myself, I don't know you could ever get over that. But that's
Absolutely.
just the sad reality of what's happened here. So
Absolutely. It's certainly a tragedy. 2 lives are lost. 2 families are never going to be the same. And it's just an important reminder that, we need the village. We got to watch these kids and we got to raise these kids right. And hopefully.
Thoughts, opinions after that?
It just disturbs me more. I don't know. I still feel the same. I just think it's a shame that nobody was made aware. There couldn't have been a prevention. I don't know. I guess I just think back to the what if, could have, situations.
Yeah. Graceful said, I wonder if most of the blood was on his jeans, if she was on the ground and his mom washed it out. She's asking you.
Oh, yeah, I did. I responded to her and I said, I
Oh.
believe once he was in control and over her, that's probably why his pants had more blood. And I just kind of hated to say it because it just becomes visual in your mind and it's sickening.
I agree, Delana, that he's never been held accountable for his actions prior to this. Definitely not.
I think his mom should be in trouble too. I mean,
well, yeah, I agree for sure.
Did she already have her trial? I can't remember.
I think that she hasn't been, I don't think she's been, it said charged, but I don't think she's been sentenced just yet.
Yeah, I don't think she has either. I thought she was charged, but it hadn't been sentenced. That'd be interesting if they were waiting to see what was the outcome of this before moving forward.
Yeah, Jay says she's in trouble. She's out on bond.
Oh.
Angel's Lie to Keep Control said it's coming up. Let me see. So there was a couple other things. This isn't going to be too long of a live there, but there was I wanted to play the one thing from the family, and I wanted to play also
from Misfit just gifted memberships.
Oh, Misfit, thank you so much. I wanted to play from the homicide detective, the former, but Misfit, thank you so much. Hold on, let me see. I can't see it. I don't see it in the chat. But thank you. I don't see it, but thank you, thank you, thank you. And new members, welcome. I don't know who the members are, but yay.
Okay. You're so sweet.
Okay, so this is the clip about pure evil. Let me know if you can see it, and then let me know if you can hear it. And there's a stupid ad on the screen. So I'm hitting mute first.
Vigamore?
Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
33 years investigating high-profile cases and also runs
Sorry, the
serious
volume's low.
investigations. Phil, welcome back to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Anjanette. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, you too. Your reaction, just first and foremost, to that guilty plea right there when jury selection was supposed to begin.
I'm not surprised. The evidence that I've looked at, the 12 sheets of evidence that they accumulated in this case, recovered, was amazing. It was irrefutable. There was no way to argue that there was not enough evidence, certainly, and they even recovered the weapon. So I am not surprised. I have had this kind of thing happen before in one of my capital cases where the trial was about to begin. People were about to get up and give testimony, and the person decided the defendant stood up and said, "I want to plead," and that's what they did. And they went right into punishment. So in this particular case in Florida, my sense is they'll now go to sentencing, but it'll probably come from the judge. I know there's a mandatory 40 years, but I can't imagine the judge giving just the mandatory minimum on this case.
And it could be extended to life. I mean, this is a horrific crime. Tristan Bailey, a 13-year-old girl, a cheerleader, stabbed 114 times. That is overkill, Phil. What does that tell you about Aiden Fucci? Just the fact that you would be able to stab someone 114 times. Stabbing them once or twice takes a lot of force. I can't even imagine.
Well, a guy like this who was predisposed to this, I mean, he had talked about wanting to do something like this, killing somebody, seeing how it felt. So this would be, for me, this would be the distinction that I would make between a sociopath and a psychopath. A sociopath, at least in my world, my simple definition is a person that commits a crime of murder and feels justified in what they did. Now, the distinction between a psychopath is that they commit a sociopathic act, but they enjoy what they're doing. So there's, when you talk about the 114 times that he stabs this girl, this young lady, clearly, for me, he defines himself as a psychopath. He was enjoying what he was doing.
There were knives in this case that are part of the evidence. He actually named his knives Picker and Poker. And there are photographs that the state had obtained of these two knives. So just the fact that he named his knives, it seems like this was very planned. This was premeditated. What does that tell you about naming your murder weapons?
Well, again, that goes to what I just said about the psychopathy of this guy. There is, and I use this term, and I don't use it loosely because I've had some cases where this term was not applied to it, but in this case, this is an act of pure evil. This individual decided that he was wanting to fulfill some need that he had to go out and kill someone. Then when he got to the point where he was decided he was going to do it, he picked the victim. And I would have to believe, I mean, people kill people for one of three motives: it's sex, drugs, or money. I think in this particular case, I noticed in the litany of the listing of all the evidence, they took a sexual assault kit test, and there are some other components there that would suggest that this had a sexual component to it. I don't know that he actually committed the act, but I think that there was a sexual component to this murder, and may have fulfilled some sort of excitement in that area for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought that was interesting because that's the first that I've heard of that, about it being a possible like sexual component to it. I don't know. Have you heard that before?
No, that is interesting.
Yes, and I haven't heard anyone say that he's an incel because like he had his girlfriend and everything. So, do you think that it was possibly sexually motivated, or do you think this guy's off base completely?
I don't know. Oh. I guess it would just be
I don't think I can make any determination without maybe if he I think you'd have to read over
Should
what
we listen to the rest?
psychologists have like interviewed and what kind of feedback and like what that's categorized. Is it looking to fall more towards incel, or you know what I mean? I think it's too he's saying it without knowing much information at all.
That's what Alley Cattell said, not enough data.
Yes.
I know some say it one way, some say it another. But it's interesting how he said he's not a sociopath, that he's a psychopath because he enjoyed it. And about how he named his knives, which we've been over. But yeah, I can finish playing it unless you have something else you want to add.
No, it's just Allie's always in my brain.
Allie, do you hear that? She's always thinking of you.
She gets me. I can't think. I've been up since like 4 a.m. I'm so tired. Sorry.
I'll probably finish this at the most. We're at an hour and a half. At the most, it'll be 2 hours. So we'll be done soon.
Oh, no, this is amazing. It is wonderful. I'm just sorry if I don't sound my normal chipper, rested self. I'm just it's a really deep thing to take in. Like anytime something big comes out in any cases that we've talked about or followed, like you become like emotionally invested and
yeah,
you're just kind of like, wow, you know.
No, that's how I've been feeling all day. Like I'm the exact same way. Edward said, "My guess is it was a power thing and the desire to unalive someone. Why did he pick a target? Definitely physically weaker than himself and used a weapon." Okay, let me see. Oh, thank you, Jay. All right, let's see. Oh, that really means a lot. Let me finish playing this.
What?
And that's not uncommon for just because there may not be a sexual assault, it doesn't mean that the perpetrator doesn't get some sort of sexual gratification out of the
I can hear
act.
the sound.
Let's look at a little bit more of the evidence that was seized in this case, or at least collected, I should say, because evidence can come in the form of statements as well. One of the officers who took Aiden Fucci into custody said that allegedly he and Tristan Bailey argued. He pushed her hard to the ground where she hit her head. While sitting in my patrol vehicle, Aiden started to cry and punched the back of the seat, the officer wrote. I asked him if he was okay, and he stated, "I'm going to get arrested for this bull, you know what." I did not ask him any questions. I stated if he did not do anything, he has nothing to worry about. What do those statements tell you?
Well, from the beginning, those are Ray.
Oh,
Here's one
stupid
thing you need to
ad
do
again.
before
Hold
you buy
on.
anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this first.
It's just statements. Those are statements that he makes, and he's not asked a question. He's not responding to something. He just makes the statement, and those are critical. I've had those in my cases, and they are the first impression of that person that law enforcement has when they come in contact with them. So that is critical. Those Reyes Justice statements he's making in the back of the patrol car are significant. And then when you start putting the evidence together, my gosh, they had a treasure trove of evidence. I mean, they had physical evidence, forensic evidence, they've got trace evidence, they've got digital evidence, they've got videos, they've got Reyes Justice statements. And then when you tie in the mother washing the clothes, they've got video of her doing that. I mean, you talk about affirmative links. I don't know that I have seen a case, at least in recent history, that had this many affirmative links that kind of close the loop, and you've got the full picture of what happened here in this particular murder.
And we have injuries to Aiden Fucci's body. There are scratches, cuts, obviously defensive wounds where Tristan Bailey tried to defend herself and sadly was murdered, and she couldn't fight back against him. So those photographs are also important too.
Sure they are. And it looks like he may have cut to his hand. And that may have been in the midst of the stabbing. I'm telling you, almost every stabbing case that I have worked where there was this volume of stab wounds, the suspect has inadvertently cut themselves, because they're not really, once they start getting into it, especially when you got a guy that's 114 stab wounds, he's not really looking at where he's going with this. So they get the hand out in front of him, and there you go. So, and some of these other injuries, it
I
looks
think
like
so, at Pointer
may
Lever.
have been from brambles or briars. I mean, he took her off into the woods, and so some of those things look like they may have been caused by some of the landscape.
Mhm. Well, Phil Waters, thank you so much, as always, for coming on to talk with us about this. We appreciate your time and your expertise, as always.
So in chat and Shay, what did you guys think about that? How, again, he said that he's a psychopath, not a sociopath, because he enjoyed it, about his knives, and just about everything that he had to say. I thought it was interesting, and about the statement that Aiden made in the back of the cop car.
Yes.
And I agree. Cheerleaders are athletes. I was a flyer when I was young, the one at the top, because I'm really small. But yeah, cheerleaders, you do have to, it's not like super easy.
Mm-mm. No, it's not. I was a cheerleader too.
So Boo Sheet says, I believe he is a sociopath. Okay, so you don't think he's a psychopath. What about
Interesting.
you, Shay? Is there one that, like, are you going towards more than one than the other?
I mean, I hate to say it, but like, I'm kind of a Pointer Lover. Like, this, all I could put him in a category of is piece of shit. So I don't care what other label they put him on. I just don't ever want to see him again. Like, I don't know. I hate it. Like this little kid, punk kid. I just can't take him anymore. Sorry. I'm a bad panel guest.
What do you mean? No, I need you on here. You're a great panel guest. Stephanie said someone said mom ran a daycare, but I think she had young children, so unsure. Yes, he did. There was a younger sibling there, and I was thinking maybe that younger sibling had maybe bruises or something like that on them, and they were wondering if Aiden caused them, and that's also one of the reasons. For the cameras, I'm sure the cameras were to check that other sibling too, but maybe to see if Aiden maybe hurt that younger sibling. Like, what do you think about that, Shay?
I think it's possible.
Delana was a flyer too. Are you super short like me?
How tall are you?
I'm like only 5 feet. Hold
Are
on.
you really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you're like just push you in my little pocket.
He was in the Satan, so he had satanic drawings when without a knife. So I would think, what were you gonna say?
Apparently they're saying that those drawings were a friend drew them for him, but I don't know how true that is.
I did hear that actually. So I don't know how true. I mean, you could always be like, if your mom, like, if your parents found weed on you, oh, it's my friends. Like, I don't know if it was the excuse that it was your friends or if it was really his, because he was right. Do you think
Everybody says you're fun-sized? I'm sorry. So cute.
Hold on. Everyone's saying their height.
Yes.
You're not 6'7", Jay. There's no way you're 6'7".
Jay Ward. Delana is wait.
Oh, Delana, you're like me. You're super small. Oh, Nora, you're little too, or not? You're short like me. You're pocket size like me. Alright. Okay. Was there anything else that I wanted to show? Let's see.
I swear my squirrels are running everywhere right now. Sorry. Lady V's 5'2". Oh, you're itty bitty.
Oh, Lady V. For some reason, I had a feeling you were little too. I don't know why.
Graceful. Stop.
What?
She's being silly. Oh man.
Well, now I know everyone's heights. All right, I'll play one. I'll definitely play the that has the Bailey family statement. Let me get that ready and see if I want to do anything else, just because I didn't want this to be too long of a live anyways. And then I don't know if anyone wants to see the full 19 minutes. I could play that at the end. I don't know. It's up to you
People
guys.
love us.
Aw. Let me get this ready. So let me know when you guys can hear it. I think my coffee's finally kicking in. So do you see it? Press a 1 if you see it.
I do.
Yay. Okay. Then press a 1 if you hear it.
Change of plea at this time. Entering a guilty plea as charged.
Teen murder suspect Aiden Fucci changed his plea to guilty today in the murder of 13-year-old Tristan Bailey. She was killed on Mother's Day in 2021. Now, before the judge, Fucci also apologized to the Bailey family and his own family.
And I'm sorry for the Bailey family and my family. Okay.
That major development came on day 1 of jury selection for his trial. I'm Tanika Hughes.
I'm John Bachman. Tristan Bailey was found stabbed in the woods more than 100 times. Aiden Fucci was the last person to see her alive. We have team coverage now live, and we're going to go over the timeline of the case and have expert input on with our law and safety expert. But we're going to start with Robert Grant live in St. Augustine. And Robert, the Bailey family says this is a milestone in the case.
Yeah, but John, they say the fight is not over. Now the state attorney's office will be pushing for the maximum penalty here. That's a life sentence. But still, what happened in court here today does bring a sense of relief to the surrounding community. More than a year later, Durban Crossing is still draped in teal for Tristan, her favorite color. But there's still questions for some neighbors.
He was guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt, but other things had to have led up to this. I can't just blame a child. I blame the child upbringing.
Aiden Fucci pleaded guilty to first-degree murder, which comes with a mandatory minimum of 40 years in prison. But the state attorney's office is pushing for a life sentence. In a statement, the Bailey family said, quote, "This is obviously not over yet. There is still a sentencing phase that our family must endure. Make no mistake, the most important things to our family at this time are justice and Tristan's legacy."
They've shown such amazing strength, so we've stood behind them to help assist in never forgetting her and her legacy living on forever.
The owner of Zone Cheer reflected on Tristan's life exactly 1 year after she was murdered. Tristan was the captain of her 7th grade Patriot Oaks Academy team. Today, I got texts from her other coaches over the years. Tracy Harkemeyer said, "This is a huge welcomed relief that Tristan's parents, friends, and loved ones will not have to sit through the trial and relive those horrible details of her murder again." Evidence like this Snapchat.
Having fun in a cop car.
Yep. Security video and the disturbing details of how the teen was stabbed more than 100 times. And a status hearing is set for just more than 2 weeks from now. During that status hearing, they'll discuss a date for the actual sentencing. The judge says likely sometime in either March or April. But for now, with local coverage you can count on in St. Augustine, I'm Robert Grant, Action News Jax.
I love the Bailey 7. I think they're such a nice family. They can remind me of Ethan Chapin's family, kind of. Again, I get pushed comparing this to Idaho, but they do remind me of them.
I think it's sweet you got that from that, because all I could think about was that Snapchat video.
Oh, really?
Yes, every time I see it, it just takes over everything, and I'm like, he's such an arrogant shit.
I know. That's what Pointy Lover got from the video, too.
It's the Pointy Lover and I are the same level right now.
You guys are. Oh, and the crazy mama. Yep, Delana. All of you guys. I mean, I saw that too and got mad, but then I was thinking about what a nice family they were at the same time.
I mean, I know we're not going to get kind of full details of what happened from this, and I know we don't want to go there in Idaho 4, and I wish you would let me do my tinfoil hat with you, but I really, I want to know more about that one. That's one like I don't really want it to be private. I want to understand more.
No, we need to for sure do Idaho Live soon on updates and stuff and contradictions, and because what the coroner said is so different from updates we're hearing. But that's not for this live, so I'm not going to get into that right now. Tristan deserves her own live, so that I'm not getting into. Let me see though what else I have, if anything.
But
I do have,
hold
yes.
on, but we did talk about, right, whenever Idaho 4 came out, a lot of people said, how could one person have this adrenaline to do this all?
Yeah.
And we always brought up Aiden Fucci. And I know we said it several times, but I mean, here's a case. I mean, this is a teenage kid. He did it.
No, I know. And he was like scrawny at the time too. But
Oh, hey, Jamie, Texas chick.
Hi, Jamie, Texas chick. But I mean, having that adrenaline and rage and all of that, and then premeditation. So, but again, it was still a crazy. I hate to say like a crazy fight, but it's still. I mean, she fought back so much that there was a good chance she was gonna. I mean, that she could have won. I mean, if he didn't have his stupid knife. But I mean, with all the defensive wounds, Austin says Shea Benet looking for ways to connect Idaho 4. And
I have no comeback to that. Guilty.
It's a critical hit. Oh, Delana. And you're itty bitty, like I love it. Okay.
Jamie's
Yes.
question was asking, have they said if they're going to release stuff? Because normally in Florida you get everything. Where is Graceful? Graceful
calling once, calling
she is
twice.
our Florida juvenile psych.
While we wait for
person.
Graceful, I think they will. Oh, they said, hold on.
Oh.
They said it. And I'm also reading Edward's comment. I wonder if he will join the 27 club. Well, he's not famous. I mean, he's in maybe I don't even want to say he's infamous. But yeah, he's not famous, but maybe he will be in the deaths of the 27. Like he'll die at that age, hopefully. Oh God, I don't mean hopefully. That's terrible. I'm cropping that out for sure. Uncensored. But yeah, maybe he will. She's here. Okay. Please
And then
no.
let's also send prayers to Bushi. Did you see her prayer request?
No, I didn't. Let me
Yes,
see.
please. It does not say it out loud, but just please send prayers to Bushi.
Yes, I can only put that up on my phone. Definitely sending prayers to you, Boo. If everyone can put prayer hands in the thank you.
Yes. Sorry, I just didn't want to let
No,
that go
yeah.
by. Bushi's so much part of our community.
I don't know if you so don't highlight the comment.
I mean, I probably wouldn't out of respect for her. It's up to her.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for the prayer, putting up the prayer hands.
Thank you.
Some positive energy that way for sure.
Yes. So Jamie had asked about if stuff would be released. And I'm segueing.
I'm thinking that they are going to release. I don't think they are trying to withhold information. So I don't think everything will be released, but I do think that definitely some will. But I want to see what she says.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for putting this up.
So I don't know if Avery's still in chat, but last time when we went over Aiden Fucci at the end, we had Graceful and Avery. And Graceful actually worked with juvenile delinquents in the psych side of it. So she was able to provide some really good information on how the system works in Florida, being that's where she's from.
Angel said, I want to see the drawings. Yeah, I would like to see the drawings too. They were explained to us about what he drew with the women and like the X's on them. You heard about that drawing, right?
I'm gonna go find him.
Well, no, I don't think they've been actually released, right?
I'm sure they're somewhere.
I don't think. Well, if you find them, will be amazing. But I don't think they've been released. But yeah, if you could find them, that's amazing. Avery's here.
Hey, love.
Okay, Graceful says Florida has an open discovery, so they could release it, but it may not out of respect for family since he took a plea. And Jamie, Texas says if it's in juvenile court, then it will probably be sealed.
He's being tried as an adult.
Yeah. Stephanie said he was a minor, she was a minor. I think it's different. And Graceful said, but he gave up his right to an appeal, so they could go ahead and release because he would be done. Oh, his case would be done. Yes, so he did draw on her. He put a smiley face on one side of her ankle, and he wrote karma on the other side.
And I think it's because
Well,
the
we
victim
don't
is
know.
a minor, right? Is that what's determined?
What was that?
I said, is it determined because she's a minor, not because he was tried as an adult? It's like the victim is the minor, which is what drives the decision to release that information, I believe.
I don't want to give the wrong information on that, so you have to ask Graceful.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the minor victim. I'm pretty darn sure. I mean, I know this is what we also saw in Kylie Rodney, which is California, but it's not uncommon in states.
Do you think that for what? Sorry.
You're fine.
Oh, no, go on. I cut you off.
Oh, I'm done. No, I'm done.
Oh, I was reading the comment about drawing on her. Do you think that was done like while she was hanging out with everyone or after that she already died? Or like while she was hanging out with Aiden and his friend?
I don't know. I have a weird feeling maybe afterwards.
Yeah, because why would you write karma? Like, she'd be like, "Why are you writing karma on me?" Right?
I think you'd be able to figure out based on if there was blood around it, if it was written before or after, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think for the sake of her family, probably less is more at this point. We already know what gruesome details that have been shared, and that's very heavy to deal with.
Yeah, shout out to the mods. Angel said it's been assumed it was afterwards. And I agree with Delana. Karma's coming for him. So, yes. I agree with all of that. Preach, Delana. That's what Austin says. And Jay said he wanted to leave some kind of calling card. So then, Jay, do you think that he was going to, I mean, I don't see how he could have possibly thought that he was going to get away with this crime. Because I could see, okay, if he thought this was going to be his calling card and at other crime scenes, put a smiley face, put karma. But if he got away with this crime, but how could he have got away with this crime? Like, unless he didn't, like, like already premeditated this crime for a month. But he didn't think of the after, like what was going to happen after at all.
What? I mean, he didn't even try to hide her.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you think he thought that he just knew he was going to get caught after? I mean, that part is kind of weird. Now he pled not guilty at first, but Ali made a good point. He's a kid. So.
Oh, wait. I'm not doing just the kid thing because then I go back to the Skylar niece stuff. I mean, the kids have done awful things like this and tried to hide it.
Avery said, I'm feeling different about it now. Avery, do you want to come up and say how you're feeling? No pressure, but I mean, I am gonna probably end it really soon, but I don't know if you want to give your feelings. I have if everyone wants to watch the full video again, and then I think I still have one other video, or yeah, I still have one other video. Well, no, I still have two videos. So I have his full court video, and I have two other videos, but I really could just play the video of him in court.
Well, I'm gonna drop the StreamYard link because I need to get down and finish reviewing some stuff for work.
I could
But
put
I'll
it
be in
on.
chat. Yeah, I think Lady V wants to
Always
come up.
laughing. Who?
Lady V wants to come up.
Oh, Lady V, thank you.
I love
that
you and
cutie
thank
that
you
you
for
have.
having me.
Thank you for coming up. Thank you. I'll message you about it. Thank you so much.
You've done a great job. Bye, love. Talk soon.
Bye. Oh, we have Avery and we have Jay.
Nice to see you. How are you
Hi,
this
everyone.
evening?
How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
And we have
I'm barely
Lady
staying
V.
awake.
Oh, you guys are making me feel so much better.
I'm barely staying awake because of the edible that I told you about, but I'm staying with it for you, you know, because this stream you've kept me really interested because all the information, all the clips, all the facts, and all the like opinions and questions you've put out there have been like spot on amazing. Like they've really made me think.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't know. I feel like it's been all over
Tristan
the
would be so
place.
proud of you.
Oh, well, thank you. Beautiful panel, Delana says. I agree. Avery, Jay, Lady V, and her husband, and Mr. V.
Hi, guys.
Yeah. Hello,
Hi.
everybody. Hi, Avery. God, long time no talk.
I know. Where have you been?
Right, Lady
School.
V? You've been MIA.
Yeah, I know. I've been missing you guys a lot, but I'm enjoying my classes.
Oh, that's right. She's in classes.
Nail
Forgot.
school.
Yes.
Nail school, yes.
I think you put up a new video, right?
I did. Well, yeah, it's nothing special. It's just I was filing off my nails, and some people find that relaxing. So I thought, well, I'll just get on there and talk a little bit. But I'm glad
Aries, you need a
noticed.
drink? Is it because of us? Are we stressing you out?
Who, me?
I don't know. Aries said I need a
Oh,
drink. Hi, Liza.
Hi, Liza.
But yeah, I'm so happy you guys are up here. What do you think about Aiden pleading guilty?
Like I said, sorry,
oh.
you go first, Avery.
Oh, thank you. So it was a shock to me. It was like it floored me, actually floored me. But now that I know that it's confirmed that he's on antipsychotic medication, so most likely, you know, we've talked about this before with him being his age, can't really diagnose him, but it is really sounding to me like he is a psychopath. And so now I'm not sure how I feel. Like, don't get me wrong, I feel terrible for Tristan's family. I feel terrible for Tristan. It never should have happened. But now I'm kind of, and this is just, you know, the psychologist in me. But if he's responding to the medication, and we've seen a different demeanor in him today in court. If he's responding to the medication and he's not seeing, you know, he's not hallucinating, he's not seeing, you know, bad things talking to him, then he's responding to it. And the problem I have is that if he is truly a psychopath and he, you know, truly has a mental illness, then who do we blame? Do we blame him? Do we blame the mental illness? Or do we blame the parents? Or it almost feels like he, like almost as if he's been failed, because teachers, parents, the girlfriend, somebody had to have known, especially with the things he was saying to these people.
I feel the same way.
And if you know what,
I think the same.
if somebody would have stepped forward, say it be his parents or a family member, anybody, and would have got him help, we could have two, both Tristan and him, we could have two children who could be happy and healthy and alive. So it's really hard for me now to see him as just a complete monster if it's not something that he could have controlled. And it makes me blame the parents or whoever was around him, because you will not convince me that parents who are involved in their child's life like they should be don't see those signs.
Absolutely. I absolutely, there's no way with all the drawings, the knives, what he was saying,
Yeah.
they had to, they knew, and they didn't do anything near enough to actually get him any help or to
And
prevent what was going to be, which was the inevitable, you know what I mean? It's a dangerous route going
yeah.
down, getting interested in those types of things.
And so, now because of it, Tristan is gone and died a horrific death. His life is completely over. He's got
Family's lost a young daughter, you know what I mean, and a
Mhm.
community's lost
He
someone
yeah.
who would have been a very prominent member.
So I know a lot of people probably aren't going to agree with me, but I'm finding it very hard to hate. I'm finding it very hard to hate him right now.
You can hate what he did, you just don't have to,
Yeah, hate the act. I do.
But I do hate him for what he did, but I guess I'm convinced that he could have easily have gone and gotten help, because there's a lot of people who do have those kinds of inclinations, but you never hear of them because they go and get help. They don't want it, you know what I mean? Whereas it seems like he enjoyed it,
Mhm.
There's a big
Liza
difference there. That's where I see it.
Liza asked a good question. She said, "What does one with a 14-year-old who killed, like, what do you do with them? Put them in a box and throw away the key?"
That's so tough. Unfortunately, he has to spend the rest of his life locked away for the safety, of others. But that's just the unfortunate part is it's like it's almost as if not just one child is gone, but two are gone. And I feel like he could have been helped if people would have noticed. I feel like he was failed, and so therefore Tristan was failed.
I
Yeah.
agree with you, Avery, with everything you said. Actually, I really agree with it. But at the same time, I think the parents knew something. I think the parents were afraid of him, to be honest, because I think that's
Mhm.
why they had the cameras up in the house like they did.
Yeah, and if that's the case, shame on them
Yeah, exactly.
because they put other people's children and other people in danger by ignoring signs and symptoms of their own child, most of the time because you don't want to say something might be wrong with my child.
Right. Well, and I mean, she even tried to cover up for him. I mean,
That's just
okay.
sick.
Sick
Yeah.
denialism is what it is, and then,
Well,
then
it
when she
is, but
covered up for him, it was blatant enablism.
it is. But I think, I mean, I don't think it was the first time she covered up for him. I'm not saying
I
he
don't think so either. Not for
somebody
Oh no.
murder,
else.
but yeah.
Yeah, I think she has covered for him his whole life, so people don't think that bad about her child, which is normal in a way. But at the same time, I mean, if you have no consequences for what you do,
Mhm.
because somebody's always going to pick up after you, so to speak, and sweep it under the rug. I mean, why would he think there'd be consequences in this? So I really do believe that
Very
his
good
family
point.
failed him. The problem is he's been failed, and he is dealing with this psychosis that he has now. What do we do with a child like that? That's really what the question is. It's not, because I think he enjoyed it. I really do.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
he
I think he did as
definitely.
well.
Yeah,
But at the
he
same time,
definitely did.
what do we do? He's not an adult. I mean, my Lord, throw him in with the adults. I mean, that's horrid. But the juvenile detention center, a lot of them are just as bad, if not worse. But I mean, there's just no place. I mean, do we lock him up in a psych ward for the rest of his life? I mean, we don't know
It
what
was
to
too
do with these kids.
premeditated to do that for him
It
to
is.
be qualified for it. That's the problem. It's like a very big dilemma.
Exactly.
Well, and now because of the horrific, crime that he's done, they know how serious, his mental illness is. So he could never be trusted to stay on his medication, take
Oh,
his
right.
medication. So he would never, he's not somebody that I would ever want walking the
No,
streets.
Yeah,
No.
you
he
want him
needs to
as your
be.
neighbor.
Yeah, he needs to be locked up for the
Certainly
rest
not
of his
Mr.
life.
Rogers.
And just think what he's going to do. How if he got out in 25 years and everything that he's been in there since he's 14, and everything that happens to him, honestly, is only going to make his condition worse. There's no way he can be released back into
They'd be releasing
population.
a monster, a bigger
Yeah,
monster,
Well,
a
that's
stronger
what that
monster, and a
guy.
more experienced monster.
That's what the
exactly.
retired homicide. They called him a monster in that video. Even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so Liza made a point. I mean, not a point. She said, I don't think that he will do life. What do you guys think on panel? I know I asked the chat, but what do you guys think?
I think he's gonna get my personal opinion. He's gonna get life with the possibility of parole.
I agree
I
with
agree.
you.
I think they'll give him a 40-year sentence, and you'll get parole after 25 years or 30 years. He can be up for it, but I don't think he'll ever get it just by the violent nature of the crime.
It also depends. Oh, go on.
Yeah, but how many people have? I mean, okay, we have. I'm not going to mention names, but how many people recently have you seen that was in something this horrific and they walked after a certain amount of time? You know what I mean? It's like our
Yeah.
justice system. You can't even believe them either. I mean, everybody lies.
Well,
Because it's quite high
problem-
profile. It's just from my experiences. The ones that are quite high profile, they do treat them differently. They do.
Yeah.
Like Manson never got out. So.
Oh yeah, no. Good
Well,
Lord.
yeah, none of the family has, and a lot of them have been like that. Leslie Van Houten, she's been up for parole multiple times, but it keeps being denied.
Exactly.
Even
That's
recently.
why I have that feeling that circumstance. Obviously, it's a completely different situation, but I think that her family, Tristan's, will make it so that the parole board never forget what he did, and that will weigh greatly in the favor of keeping him locked up.
No,
I think
you
it
have to
also
remember too. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think it also has a lot to do with how his behavior is. Well, it's been so far bad,
Terrible.
but what it's gonna be in the future if he ends up acting rehabilitated, if he ends up doing school, finishing and getting his high school diploma, and then taking college classes, and ends up being they feel a good role as a model prisoner, and that all they take in consideration in
Exactly,
parole
and you can't
hearings.
lie in prison. You're in there
That's
so long.
exactly.
It shows if you're playing a game.
But
That's exactly what I was going to say.
But the thing is that what the thing about him is knowing that he's responding, to the meds right now, to antipsychotics specifically. If he truly is a psychopath, even medicated, he will not, like a psychopath cannot feel empathy. They cannot feel sorrow. They cannot feel bad. They cannot feel so you can get him medicated. You could get him stabilized, but you can't cure psychopathy.
Exactly.
There's not a cure for it. So, and that's I get a little emotional when it comes to mental illness because it really infuriates. It's I almost want to say it's just I always call it the silent devil because sometimes I don't know what's worse, being born with a horrible illness, you have to deal with like a physical illness or a mental illness that you have no control over.
You're
Like
more
it's,
stigmatized with it
yeah,
because it's more easier for people to understand if it's a physical problem. They can see it, they can comprehend it, but when it comes to the brain, people just switch off.
yeah, yeah. Delana, she just said she doesn't think he feels sorry, and I agree with her. He
He
can't.
doesn't.
He
Yeah, I
can't.
don't know.
Like
Chemically, there's something not right with him to where he
yeah.
can't do that, and his thought processes are just not as ours are.
I
Now
mean,
see,
he can mimic
well,
reactions and stuff, but
Of
he has,
course, of course.
that's a
and
soci.
that's why they get away with things. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's no way he
Well,
feels anything.
sociopaths are really, really good at pretending to
Oh
be
yeah.
sorry to the point of being convincing. Like that's what's scary about sociopaths is they can fake crying,
Oh yeah.
they can fake them out, but psychopaths, they can't fake it because it's just not, they don't even have that ability. Like he
I
Right.
may be
agree
able
with you
to,
there. I agree with you there about psychopaths because, and this is a little off topic, but there was a guy in Britain called Jimmy Savile who was a big child abuser, and he was famous though, and he only came out after he died that he'd done it. But in his interviews, he would like he was a psychopath. He'd been diagnosed it by experts after he died, but when they'd make jokes about him, like kind-hearted ones, he would take it really seriously. He could never laugh at himself. He would always take it seriously, even though he had an act. The mask slipped when that happened because he was that narcissistic. He could never laugh at himself. That's a big sign, you know.
it's right. They can't because but so so like the difference between, psychopaths and sociopaths, we were just talking about that. But psychopaths, they actually in their prefrontal cortex,
Right. Right.
they have they don't have the same connections as normal people. And those connections, it's the ventromedial prefrontal cortex.
So this
Those
is from birth.
from birth, and those connections are the ones that give us things like guilt, um, sorrow, fear, anxiety, just
Do
things like
genetics
that.
play any part in this?
And I'm sorry?
Does genetics play a
Oh,
factor in it?
yeah.
Like if people in your family
Yes,
have
yes.
got that,
Very much so.
yeah.
But yeah, they've actually dissected the brains of psychopaths, basically while still alive,
Wow.
and yeah, just to see, what is going on, and it really is it's like brain damage.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've seen scans
Exactly.
where it just looks totally different to ours.
Yeah.
Like
And it's
completely,
And there
like
is no
the activity's completely off. You know what I mean?
it's
there
so
is no
sad.
fixing it at this point either. I mean, no amount of medication is going to fix it. And
Right, right.
it's just like somebody with bipolar. They take the medicine, they start feeling better, they get off their medicine because they don't think they need it anymore. Well,
Yep,
they hurt themselves, okay? But in his case, if he does it, he's going to hurt somebody else.
right.
I don't think he should ever be let out again. It just goes back to my point of we have so many of these nowadays with these kids. We need a place that's not an adult jail to put these guys.
And also, as well, it's like the amount of money that goes into the defense budget. Wouldn't you think that more should be put into mental health services? Isn't that like a way to defend the nation?
Right.
Yeah, no,
Especially
I
focusing on the
agree.
youth as well, because you want to reduce the number of school shootings and the number of instances like this. That's where you need to put the money. You know what I mean? That's where you
Exactly.
need to put the attention to. But people just don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. Left or right, they don't do enough in this respect. More effort needs to be made, and it's the children who are going to suffer the most.
So you see the checklist that Valerie put up. So let's see. I actually, because I was just looking in one of my psychopathy books just a little while ago about it.
Hopefully this is a okay checklist.
Yeah, it sure is.
Okay, good.
But I know, like, especially for a juvenile, there's so much more to that to that list, that this is where I get angry, because there's just no way his parents couldn't have known.
No, there's not.
No. And they could
And
have
it's like,
saved.
okay, what we need to do is also, I think, another thing is, if a parent thinks that there's something wrong with their child, they should be able to go get that child tested. And they should be, and I'm not one for free, okay, but they should be able to get free,
I am.
or as far as
Paying tax, you
counseling or
should get that the
whatever.
least.
Huh?
I mean, if you're paying tax, it's the least that you should get is like healthcare. I mean, bloody hell, if they're using money to rebuild roads, why can't they use it to rebuild lives and and heal people?
Well,
It's not
even
radical.
the thing of it
It's just
is,
being
though,
a good person, I think.
Yeah.
the thing of it is this child still would not have gone away, because it is a physical thing that he
Yeah,
has.
but the only the good thing
But
is
there's a
if
lot out there
it's
that's not.
treated, if he's known to the system, they can watch him, and if it was clear that he was going down that path, they could have sectioned him, they could have committed him, and then he wouldn't have done what he did.
Yeah.
So Angel's Lie to Keep Control said something interesting about how they were both high that night. They were both smoking weed, and she wonders if it was possibly laced with something. But he did have that plan. So, and now they're saying that Tristan was his target. So, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think she definitely was his target. I can only imagine. I mean, I don't really think that just marijuana alone would really. I don't really know, actually, if marijuana alone would enhance, like any kind of
Yeah.
symptoms that he had. If it was laced, probably,
Yeah.
And I don't think Tristan was doing drugs. I think she was smoking. They did say that she smoked. She got in trouble a few times for that. So I do think that she had like a vape pen and that she smoked, but I don't think she did like other like stuff than that.
Yeah, probably
The
just
psycho said I can't picture it.
just experimenting with marijuana. I mean,
There's nothing wrong with smoking weed. It's safer than alcohol.
I mean,
He's lighting up as he says that.
at that age, it's I would.
I'm sure they took a drug test when he went in, when they picked him up. How long after the crime did they pick him up? It wasn't very long.
It was like 16 hours. It was like the next day, I think. It was very soon after.
Then if that's true, then it should still have been in his system.
It stays in for a while. It does.
Yeah. I mean, most medications take about 72 hours to get out of your system.
Yeah.
So even at that, you're looking at time to find out if he had taken something that would have somehow caused him to do this.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying I think so too to Allison Faye. She said he would have done this again.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. I want you to say, Avery, about how you're talking about this chart that I put up.
Oh, well, I was just looking, at the symptoms, and then because earlier when I had heard on the news about that he was on antipsychotics, I got to looking in some of my books. I just wanted to, kind of just refamiliarize myself with some symptoms and stuff of psychopathy in children. And there's so much more, like the juvenile, let's see, number 18, juvenile delinquency. I guess that could fall, like, because a lot of times, children with psychopathy, they started out by like harming animals.
Right.
They do
Couldn't
things like
imagine.
that. Yeah,
That's a very sensitive subject with me.
yeah. And so I just wonder, oh, I wish I could just like know, like the things that he had done when he was younger. I also would like to know, I would like to know if either of his parents have ever been tested, for
His dad has offending and abuse charges and things like that, so he seems like he has a lot of problems. His paternal
I
father,
did
anyway.
see that. Yeah, I did see that about the father. And then there was something else I was gonna say too. Oh, did they say what did they ever say the name of the antipsychotic?
I think, ouch, I think he's on laudanum.
He's on, I know, Remeron and lithium, and there's a
Oh,
third one.
lithium. That's right, lithium. I'm sorry.
There's
He's
a
on
third one though
3?
too. He's on 3. Remeron, lithium, and there was another that someone did say in chat, because I was asking what the third one was, and somebody did know it in chat. So if you do know the third one, can you put it in the chat? I could probably find it right
Is
now.
it Demerol?
No, it wasn't Demerol.
What's Demerol?
A
Demerol's
strong
for
pain
meds.
medication.
It just came
Valium.
to me for a second. Oh yeah,
It's
it's
Valium.
pain pills, isn't it? Yeah.
No,
I
it's
don't take
Valium.
anything like that. I'm purely medicinal, what comes from the earth type of thing.
Zyprexa.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Edward.
what did you say the second one was?
So Remeron and lithium and Zyprexa.
Okay, so I can't remember. I've never heard of that one.
Zyprexa. I've heard of Remeron and lithium, but never Zyprexa.
No, I
Okay.
haven't heard of. I've only heard of lithium.
So the Remeron, that's just an antidepressant, sort of similar to like Zoloft. The Zyprexa, this is one I've never heard of before. And it's treated for like schizophrenia, bipolar, psychotic conditions. Okay. I'm trying to see what class it is. I was trying to look to
Schedule.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, which one are you looking at? Because I looked at Remeron earlier. I saw that it said mood stabilizers and also it said bipolar as well.
Zyprexa is the one I'm looking at. Yeah.
I'm starting to
wow.
get affected by the edibles to a point where I don't think I can continue on the panel. But
That's
I'd
okay.
like
Thank you
to
so
say
much.
thank you
Thank
so
you for
much
coming up. Now,
for doing the
Lady
live and
V,
letting me up as well. It's all the information, all the details you put out has been amazing. You've done an amazing job, and you should be really proud of yourself.
thank you.
Honestly, great.
Lady V won't be hidden now from all my when I put up all the
Yeah.
chats. She keeps getting hidden, so now she won't be hidden.
People will see you now. Then, okay, thank you. I'll still be in the chat. All right, just to, so I can. I'll wait
Jay.
until the end, obviously, and stay in.
Jay.
Thanks so much.
Jay.
Yeah.
You're adorable. You crack me up.
You crack me up too, even though you're not from the south. I just did a southern accent for some reason. So
oh my god, that just reminded me of Family Guy. Like, Mom.
Oh, Family Guy's the
Mom.
best.
She's
Like,
like, Jay.
Jay.
What?
Exactly.
Hi.
How funny.
I'll be in the chat. Like, take care, everyone. You've done an amazing job, Val, and everyone else's. Your contributions have been really interesting, and it's been great to hear. Peace and love.
Have a good
Have a
night.
good night, Jay.
I'll still be in chat.
Okay. And they're asking us to play the whole thing, the whole court hearing. So I'm going to play that. And if you want if you want to talk to everyone while I get that.
Okay.
Sure.
No pressure. But yeah, Lady V, I'm sure can think of something to talk about.
Oh, thank you.
So, lady,
You're welcome.
they got so oh my gosh, so 3 that kind of well, I guess it shouldn't really shock me, but 3 medications, so it looks like they've got everything covered, the depression, the mood stabilizing, and the psychopathy, the psychosis.
Right.
So, but wow.
You know, I just can't get over that. You know, I'm thinking, okay, he came from an upper middle class family, but nowadays the upper class middle family are not like they're struggling really bad. So I'm wondering if it was the amount of money that it would cost to get him treatment, because I just can't see him not knowing. I can't see them not knowing, especially with the cameras up. I just
Well, but you would think they would have insurance, right?
but you know, not all insurance is good insurance.
I don't
And if
that
it's
I
a
guess that's,
matter of
you know.
money, then we should be able to. I mean, my God, we pay for all kinds of crap we don't even need. The least we could do is if somebody needs some mental health taken care of, to make sure that they get what they need. You know what I'm
But
saying?
yeah, but isn't there in every county, isn't, and I might be wrong, but isn't there like a county mental health place for, like the health department refers you to, it's like a county mental health. And then if you don't have insurance, they put you on like a scale. I
Yeah,
just, there's
yeah.
always something.
I think you're right, but I don't know. I've
You
heard
know,
such good things about this.
I have a 12-year-old son, and I mean, if I seen any odd symptoms, I'm still looking at his drawings now. When he draws, I go and look. But if I were to hear him saying things or had posters or drawings like that in his room,
Yeah.
do you know how fast we would be down at the clinic?
Oh, I totally agree with you.
Cameras, my ass.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
I
because yeah. No, I totally get it. We had my grandma. She had dementia, and
Mhm.
she was saying my grandpa was hurting her, and so we put a camera. She wanted us to put a camera in there, right? Well, we found out it wasn't him; it was her. And she would walk around literally. She found a machete and she was walking around the house with it. I know
Oh,
what it's like to live in fear, right? Of something
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
And
Wow.
and it's just like I can't imagine. I mean, I know people do have cameras inside their house for whatever reason, but you just with the psychopathy of this kid, I just feel like they had it because they were afraid of him themselves.
Yeah, and they probably were, but that's why I say, damn the cameras. I'm not gonna live in
No,
fear.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, and then you have to, like, I mean, it's just part of responsible parenting. You have to think about, you know, other people and what your child could do to somebody else.
Well, I don't know. Do you think they really thought, yet they probably thought he was weird or not? I know that sounds weird. They probably thought, yes, this behavior is odd that he's doing stuff, but do you really think they thought that he was capable of killing someone?
If
Well,
they had the cameras in the house up for that reason, then yeah.
I would say no, because I think no parent wants to think their child is capable of that. But I still think that if you are seeing those types of things, it's better to just go ahead and see a professional rather than, take the chance of something happen. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh,
What
I
happened.
agree.
I agree. Liza made 2 comments. So the first comment was that she thinks the parents are kind of responsible for it,
Oh
and then
yeah,
she
definitely.
was also saying that lithium, Remeron, and Zyprexa, like that is not good even for adults. I can't find the comment, but I remember it. But for a child, that's making you in a zombie like state, basically.
Lithium is, man, that's an element
Heavy.
that, it's an
That's a
element
heavy,
from,
heavy.
it's a metal, element, and you have to get regular blood work done when you're on lithium just to make sure, you're supposed to be on certain diets because some things that we eat and stuff have that type of metal in them. That's lithium's really can be really hard on your body, really, really
Well,
hard.
honey, and if they went straight to lithium, that says a lot because we don't go straight to lithium anymore. If they thought that strong of a drug was needed for him,
Hmm.
that's scary. I don't see how his parents couldn't have known with that kind of drug that they're giving him.
See, that's my point exactly. So that means they've been monitoring him while he's been incarcerated.
Right.
They've been seeing these manic episodes, the aggression, the violence. They've been seeing everything, and
Yeah.
reporting on it. He had to have had those kind of episodes at home.
Yeah.
And okay, like Liza said, I had seen adults on that cocktail try to unalive themselves. And I do know that it says on all these medications, like if you're under 25, be careful that it can cause suicidal thoughts and all of those things. So
Yeah.
they are very serious medications.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and lithium was made in 1949. So it is interesting that they went to that medication because there's been so many newer ones that are less strong since then.
Yeah, lithium is it is a very old, but I prefer older
I do too.
prescriptions. Yeah.
Tested and tried.
Yep. Yep. In fact, when I had my cesareans, I can't take most pain pills, and my doctor had to go research this one. It was a pain medication mixed with a like a nausea medicine, and I think he said it was made in 1921, and then they had to hunt down a pharmacy that
That
could
had it.
even find it
Yeah.
for me. Yeah, because my body, I can't take them. You know how some people can take like Loratab and codeine and
Oh, I
stuff?
have to be
Yeah, and then it
careful.
makes other people like sick.
Yeah, well, codeine swells up my throat. Loratab makes me puke. It's like nothing, even with Phenergan. So yeah, they had to hunt down. But ever since then, I've always been like a fan of older drugs.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. But I mean, lithium, man, that's like, whew, that's like
Mm-mm.
heavy, heavy
It's
duty.
scary.
And like I said, since he's on all three of those strong medications, but here, let me play for all of you and I'll stop in moments so we get breaks. And then I'll probably let everybody go because it already has been like almost 3 hours when we're done playing this. But
Honey,
all right.
let me ask you a question, Val, real quick while I'm here.
Yes.
Why do you think you have to rush off, honey?
I don't know. I just feel it's already been a long time.
Okay, but I love long lives, and I think a lot of them do. I mean, maybe you should ask the chat. I just feel like you try to rush through everything to get everybody, off here. But this is why they're on here is because they love you. They want to talk about this stuff, and you don't have to rush or hurry off when you don't have to apologize for being on here 2 hours. You know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah.
think
Because
that
we love
short
it.
little
If we
laugh
didn't, we
went
wouldn't be in the room.
Thank you.
Did you hear me, Lady V? I said I think her short little ass went numb. So she's wanting to get up and move around. I can't do
Oh
it.
no, she left
Oh
us. She's saying,
no.
is that still you, Avery?
Yeah.
Okay, your picture went away. I was like, oh no, I hope it's not going to be someone pretending to be Avery.
No, it's me. It might be my I've been having a
Oh my
Oh
gosh, she
no.
left again. We're having issues right now.
Don't you just love StreamYard?
Yes. All right. I'm gonna start playing this. And Avery might be popping in and out while it's playing. Let me press 1 if you can hear it.
Our jury selection
We can hear it.
process. However, it's come to my attention that there may be a change of circumstances.
Can you turn it up any?
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you and your client could go ahead and approach the podium.
It's at the highest volume. I'm sorry.
All right, Ms. Gibbons.
Your Honor, on behalf of Aiden Fucci, we enter a change of plea at this time. Entering a guilty plea as charged.
And this is a straight plea to the court. In other words, this is not a negotiated plea. Is that correct?
Your Honor, we have presented several defense offers and they've all been rejected by the state.
So it would be a straight plea to the court.
Yes, Your Honor.
State, can you make sure that you state for the record the possible penalties that Mr. Fucci is facing if he enters the straight plea?
Yes, Your Honor, he's facing a possible sentence of life imprisonment. The mandatory minimum would be 40 years. So similar to after trial, the range of exposure is 40 to life. He will be entitled to a review hearing after 25 years of serving any prison sentence, Your Honor.
Here's one thing you need to do before you buy anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this first.
Watch this. I can show you how to get the sweetest deals online when you shop from major retailers like Amazon and Target. You can drop prices automatically. I can show you how, but I can't do it for you. People are saving real money doing this, 160 million in the last year. Across thousands of different retailers, you'll immediately see this. See what I mean? You'll see better prices you had no idea existed. And you don't even need to ask. They just show up automatically. Download this free tool that'll give you access to the deals like the one I just showed you. Just click, click, done. That's it. Simple. It takes all of 10 seconds. No need to enter any personal information, no technical mumbo jumbo. It's that easy. What are you waiting for? It takes less than 30 seconds to start saving. And this is all 100% free.
Oh, I love Amazon. Oh, I need that. Valerie, are you there?
I'm trying to do it. It's not doing it. Hold on.
I'm like, I love Amazon. Amazon comes to my house a lot.
Hold on, it's not changed. Oh my god. I'm having issues. Come on, stupid video. This ad really wants. Okay, I think we're good. Oh my god, hold on.
Is that what I am?
Okay, skip. All right, everybody proceed.
Oh, we gonna watch a movie now.
You had sufficient time to talk with your client about this decision?
Yes, Your Honor.
In addition, are his parents aware of this decision? Not this decision, but the proposed plea?
Both parents, yes, Your Honor.
And they've had an opportunity to consult with you as well as Mr. Fucci?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are there any other matters we need to address at this time before I place Mr. Fucci on the road?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Fucci, if you could step over and speak into that, if you could adjust that microphone. Sir, if you'll raise your right hand, you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, sir, please state your name.
Aiden Sean Fucci,
Mr. Fucci, how old are you, sir?
16.
How far did you go in school?
To 8th grade.
Are you able to read, write, speak, and understand the English language?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol right now?
Yes, sir, my medication, but
What type of medication are you taking?
Remorse, lithium, and Suppressor.
Is that medication prescribed by a physician?
Yes, sir.
And does that medication assist you in your ability to understand what's happening and going on around you?
Yes, sir.
Have you taken that medication today as prescribed by your physician?
Last night, sir.
last night. Is that when you were scheduled to take it?
Yes, sir.
All right. And is it in any way, shape, or form affecting your ability to understand what's going on here this morning?
No, Your Honor.
Do you feel clear-headed and clear-minded about what's going on here today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental health condition that could affect your ability to understand and comprehend what's going on today?
No, I don't believe so.
Your attorney has informed me that you'd like to enter a plea of guilty to the charge of first-degree murder. That is a sentence that is a crime which is punishable by up to life in prison. The minimum sentence that the court could impose would be 40 years in prison. You just heard the state outline that range. Do you understand the range of possible penalties that you're facing if you enter this plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that the minimum sentence that this court could impose for you would be 40 years in prison. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the court could impose all the way up to life in prison. Do you understand that as well?
I do, Your Honor.
And the way that this works is if the court were to sentence you to 40 years up to life, it would also be eligible for a review sentence of that sentence in 25 years. At that point, another body would then come back and review what we're doing here today, and they would look at that sentence and determine whether or not they should change that sentence. However, that's no guarantee as to what they're going to do. That's just something in the statute that requires another body to review this court sentence in 25 years. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you any particular sentence that I might impose if you do this?
No, sir.
No one's said, hey, if you enter this plea today, the judge might go lighter on you or anything like that? No one's promised you anything like that, have they?
No, sir.
You understand again.
No sound.
I'm having issues, but I've been hearing he could get out at 56, but he could technically, I don't think he will, get out at 41 if with that review and at 25, but I don't think he's going to get out.
I don't think so. Not that early. I
Yeah.
don't think, because the family will still be around enough to we have a situation where we have to go every few years to keep a guy in. So, yeah, as long as the family still shows a lot of interest and a lot of support behind them, then they'll probably keep him.
Yeah, and they're the Bailey 7, so I believe they definitely will have members keep coming to each hearing if there is, or if there's parole hearings that they'll keep showing up to them.
Yeah, true.
All
And
right.
I'm going to tell people, I'm working on my nails for class. So, Tad, thank you for he's like, if you want your nails did, go to Lady V, as the kids say. But I can't answer you guys because I'm only on one device. And Osane said it was the little ad that could, which I thought was hilarious. Talking about that ad that wouldn't go away. He's
Oh
like,
my
"That's the little ad
God,
that could."
yes. I saw Avery said that was a very determined ad. It was. Liza said she really doesn't like this. I guess. Oh, all right. So and also Delana says listen very closely to what the judge is saying, the verbiage and everything.
I could give you 40 years up to life in prison.
Yes, I do.
You understand that today we're here for jury selection. So we actually have members of St. Johns County who have reported to the courthouse today downstairs. They're actually waiting for us right now, and we were going to begin to select a jury to conduct a trial for you. You understand that you have the right to that jury trial?
Yes, sir, I do.
Your attorney had filed a motion, and we had a hearing a few weeks ago, I guess, where she had, the state had requested a 6-person jury, and your attorney requested a 12-person jury. Do you recall that hearing that we had on that?
Yes, sir.
And you also understand that right now your attorney has filed a motion to an appellate court, which is kind of a higher court above this court. And their responsibility is to review all of the decisions that go on here. And right now she's filed that appeal as to whether or not you were entitled to a 6-person or a 12-person jury. You familiar with all that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you and she discuss the fact that by entering this plea today, you're kind of taking away that issue? In other words, there's not going to be an appeal anymore. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I understand.
Once you enter this plea today, that's going to go away. You understand that as well?
Yes, sir.
Is anyone forcing you or threatening you in any way to get you to do this?
No, sir.
Has anyone promised you anything in exchange for your plea?
No, sir.
I have a document here. It's called a plea form. It has the state of Florida versus your name and our case number. On the second page of this document, above the word defendant is a signature. Can you see that signature I'm pointing to? You have
Yes,
a
sir.
copy of it in front of you as well. Is that right? Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And by signing this document, are you indicating to me that you've read this document?
Yes, sir, I read it.
In addition to reading it, did you discuss it and talk about everything that's on it with your attorney?
I did.
Did she answer any and all questions about everything that's contained on this document?
Yes, sir.
There's a number of rights that you're giving up. I've already talked about them a little bit, but I want to talk about them again with you, okay? You understand again that you have the right to a jury trial. During that trial, you're entitled to be represented by an attorney. You've got attorneys who are appointed to represent you. They would have been with you throughout that trial. You have the right to compel witnesses to come in and testify on your behalf. You could have testified during that trial if you wished, or you could have remained silent throughout that trial. You could have required the state of Florida to prove this charge beyond a reasonable doubt. You could have presented evidence during that trial. You could have cross-examined any witnesses that the state might have called against you. And you also could have appealed your conviction and sentence to a higher court. You understand, once I accept your plea today, there will not be a trial. We'll pass this matter off for sentencing, and you'll be giving up all of those rights that I just described.
I do, Your Honor.
Another matter that I want to address with you is another motion that we had previously discussed a couple of months ago, I believe, which was your attorney had filed a motion was called a change of venue. In other words, she wanted to have this trial conducted in a different county instead of St. Johns County. She was concerned.
Just wanted to pause it. So Liza said she doesn't think he knows that anything the judge is talking about at all, even though he says like, yes, I understand. Do you think he fully gets what the judge is saying? Or he's just saying, yes, I understand?
I kind of agree with Liza.
Yeah.
I think he's just going through the motions of my lawyer told me to do this, so I'm going to do this, you know?
It's crazy that like last minute though, I do think it was because of how much evidence they had against him, but they were even just last week filing to try and change it back to 12-person because how they changed it to 6-person jury.
Right.
His team was trying to get it back to and a change of venue and to a 12-person because they didn't feel it was right. And then they do this all of a sudden. So it's interesting how quickly that they changed it.
Can I say something horrible?
Of course.
I'm really glad the family doesn't have to go through all of that, but I do have to say I would have really liked to have heard the background of this story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
I mean, I don't
Diana
want the
said
family go through it, but I really kind of would have liked to.
But yeah, I'm
listen.
so I mean, it would have been an interesting trial, but I still, as interesting as it would have been, I'm just so happy that the parents don't have
Yeah.
to go through it. I wouldn't want them to have to hear all the evidence, to see the
Yeah.
hopefully they haven't seen any photos or anything like that, and they can just remember her as the beautiful girl that she was.
Right. No, I totally agree. I don't know. It would have been very interesting to find out his background story, you know. So.
All right, so I will finish playing this.
Concerned about whether or not we would be able to impanel a fair and impartial jury. And if you recall, I ruled on that and I denied that motion. However, I stated that I would reconsider that if after we had attempted to select a jury here in St. Johns County, if the court then determined that we could not find a fair and impartial jury for you, that we would move this to a different county. You understand that, again, once you enter this plea, that issue is not something that would be appealable anymore.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that now, that we're going to proceed here today with this plea, and so you'll be giving up that appellate right as well.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to tell you the easiest way to make money at home, and you 100% have never heard of this before. So most
I bet I have heard it before. Those ads are
You
funny.
had sufficient time to talk about this decision with your attorneys.
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you also get a chance to discuss it with your parents?
Yes, sir.
Have you also had sufficient time to talk with your attorneys about your case itself and any possible defenses that you might have raised through this charge?
Yes, sir.
I know that you were housed up in Duval County. Did that in any way preclude your ability to speak with your attorneys? Have your attorneys been able to meet with you and have conversations with you about your case?
They did.
Did you get to go over the evidence that the state has and that they've supplied a discovery? Have you discussed all that evidence with your attorneys as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you need any time at all, any more time at all to speak with your attorneys before I accept your plea today?
No, sir.
Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Yes, sir.
Did your attorneys explain to you that if you were not a U.S. citizen entering this plea, could have subjected you to being deported from the United States?
Yes, sir.
And you've not ever previously been convicted of any type of sexually violent or sexually motivated crime, have you?
No, sir.
State, have you supplied the defense all of the discovery in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you aware of any physical evidence that can be tested for DNA that might exonerate this defendant?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Peoples, have you had sufficient time to review all the discovery and discuss it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you aware of any physical evidence that can be tested for DNA that might exonerate your client?
No, sir.
State may have a factual basis, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about May 9th, 2021, in the county of St. Johns in the state of Florida, the defendant, Aiden Fucci, did unlawfully kill a human being, Tristan Bailey, said killing being from a premeditated design to affect the death of Tristan Bailey. And furthermore, during the commission of said offense, Aiden Fucci used a weapon contrary to Florida statutes 78204, sub 1, sub A, and 775.087, sub 1.
Any objections or exceptions to factual basis?
For the purpose of the plea, yes, Your Honor.
Do you have exceptions or you do not?
No exceptions, accepting it for the purpose of the plea.
All right. I do find a sufficient factual basis for the charge of first-degree murder. Mr. Fucci, is it your desire to enter a plea of guilty to one count of first-degree murder?
Yes, sir.
I accept your plea. I find it's entered into freely, voluntarily, and intelligently, that you are coherent and alert, and that you understand the nature of the charges and the consequences of your plea.
I do.
We need to pass this matter off for a sentencing hearing. I know that this, we probably aren't ready to pick a date yet. Why don't we come back? Let's talk a little bit about what we need to do before we get to sentencing, so we hear from the state.
Yes, sir. I think if we want to state a discovery deadline for both parties have to disclose any additional evidence for purposes of sentencing, any witnesses that have not already been disclosed, and then from there, we can set aside in February for on those lights, and probably pick a date sometime in February once we exchange those lights.
Pick a date for the sentencing out in March or April, is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Peoples, does that schedule work for you?
Yes, sir.
How long will both sides need to compile a list of witnesses to for the sentencing hearing
I believe
itself?
10 days would be sufficient, Your Honor.
All right, so 10 days from today, both sides will tender a witness list and any other discovery that they intend to utilize. Obviously, if there are letters of impact statements, things of that nature, I would expect those. But if it's anything of evidentiary value, that needs to be provided within 10 days of today. I'm also going to order a pre-sentence investigation. Ms. Peoples, are you requesting that as well?
Yes, sir.
And a predisposition report. I believe you would be entitled to that. So we're going to order both of those reports. So then we'll get working on both of those.
Your Honor, I just a special request with that order that if the court could note to the meeting DJJ and to the, I believe it would be the sheriff's office, that defense counsel wants to be present for those interviews.
I will absolutely we will notify them as well that you should be present for those interviews. Mr. Fucci, your attorneys are going to be present with you, but there will be there's going to be a couple of reports that are going to be compiled for the court. They're going to be used as an aid to the court in order to determine what the appropriate sentence is. There will be someone who will come out and speak with you. Again, your attorneys will be present when that occurs. They may also speak to your family members, and then also the state and your attorneys, and also the victim's family members as well. So why don't we come back on February 23rd at 9 a.m. We'll call it a status, and at that time we will select the date for our sentencing hearing. How many days do you anticipate needing for the sentencing hearing itself?
2, Your Honor.
2 days.
Stay on the state behalf, I would say reserve one for us, whatever.
Okay. Well, we'll set aside. We'll find 2 days. You all tell me when you both will be ready, and then we will select those 2 days. And then any hearings or any motions that we need to address on February 23rd, we can address those at that time as well. And I believe that covers everything. Is there anything else we need to address from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. A point of clarification that Mr. Fucci had said that he read it. I actually read it out loud to him. It's a minor point, but I just wanted to clarify that on the waiver form.
The plea form?
That's correct.
Okay.
And
so, Mr. Fucci, when I asked you about whether or not you read it, your attorney actually read the plea form to you. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And she went over all those rights that I went over with you as well.
Yes, sir.
And she again answered any and all questions about everything that's contained on that document for you.
She did.
And your parents were also present during that conversation as well? Were they present as well?
no, it was a separate conversation with the parents. Your Honor.
Okay.
And Mr. Fucci just wanted to make a short statement.
I just want to say I plead not guilty. And I'm sorry for the Bailey family and my family.
Okay. Okay. I'm sure that there'll be an opportunity, obviously, at sentencing hearing to speak again at that time. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm all talking to you, Lady V. I was asking you. I was asking what you thought of his apology and what you thought of, if you thought anything about his voice.
Well, I don't know what happened to his voice. He sounds like a 6'7" man to me, but I don't know. I guess it is what it is. But I think he's just apologizing because he got caught and he's in trouble, and he's just trying to get on the best side he can. And he knows he knows he should say it, but I don't think he feels it. Are you on mute again?
No, I didn't want to cut you off. No, I don't think he feels it yet either. But I'm curious if for the sentencing that they're going to have a longer, try to have it seem more remorseful statement.
Oh, probably, I would think. I mean, if pretty much any good lawyer would try to do that if they're willing to do that. But I mean, he can say whatever he wants, but if you hear the tone of his voice where it sounds like it's just monotone, I don't think he's feeling anything.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
just saying it.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, with all the medications that he's on, and they're strong medications,
Oh, yeah.
especially the lithium. Nora's grandma said, I think this judge is going to go easier on him than we think. So, I mean, does he seem like a judge that doesn't mess around to you? Or how are you kind of feeling this judge? Like, how are you reading him?
Some of these questions he asked, I'm a little bit afraid he might go easier on him too.
he is kind of treating him like a child, and I mean, I know that he technically is, but he did an adult crime. But he is like Delana said, he's explained in a way that a kindergartner could get it.
Exactly.
So yeah, let me see what chat is saying. Graceful says they should construct an apology with him. He didn't even say what he's sorry for. He will do that in sentencing. I agree. I'm
Right.
sure it'll be drafted, everything like that they'll go over it. Multiple people will probably go over it. It's not going to be something that Aiden wrote himself.
No, and he'll just read the script and do what they want him to do.
And yeah, Jay said it seems like he's just on autopilot. Delana said, I don't think he will show mercy.
Now this judge, what I honestly think is, I think that if between now and then he's on good behavior on all of that, he might go a little bit easier on him. Yes, I'm doing my nails, hon. I'm not finished yet. But at the same time, if he keeps acting up like he was, I don't think he will go easy on him.
Okay,
That's
and
my husband.
yeah. Oh, hello, husband. Hello, Lady V. I mean, hello, Mr. V.
He's like, don't
Graceful
you have school? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not finished with my nails.
I promise it'll be done. This is almost over. You can see we're almost at the end of the line. Okay. Graceful said the judge is making sure that they followed all legal procedures and he had adequate representation. And Alsane wants to know, what color are you doing your nails? I know that you're putting some little diamonds and stuff on them, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Actually, they're oh, hang on. They're little hearts.
I love them. Yes, I love them. My nails are so short. They're because I'm too stressed. They're like so short. It's unbelievable. But I had acrylic nails back in when I was 16. I had acrylic nails, and now I just have super short nails. But back to Aiden.
Yep.
Any other matters we need to address? Anything else from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
No, sir.
All right, well, we're adjourned. We'll see you back here February 23rd at 9 a.m.
Court is adjourned.
You had me laughing. I heard you laughing, so I was laughing.
Did you read Avery's statement?
No, what was it?
She said, if my nails were that long, I couldn't wipe my own
Oh
butt.
my God.
Seriously? Oh God. She's funny.
Who
Well, I
had
got
to
one
go
nail
and
left to do. You have me for one more nail and then I gotta go.
Okay, all right. So let's see if I want to play one other thing while I have you. Okay. Let's see. We have a court TV thing. We have were you here when I played the thing with his girlfriend, or were you not here?
No, I was here. I just didn't say anything for a while.
Oh, you were being a lurker. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm messing with you. Let me see. Everyone here heard that already, right? The little it was like a 2-minute clip of his girlfriend talking about his 2 knives.
Yeah, him naming them and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll
Jason,
only
play it
play
again.
Jason play it again. I'll only play it if everyone here hasn't heard it because I still have another video. So if everyone's heard it, I'm not going to play it again. Oh, Allison hasn't heard it. Okay, Angels wants to hear it again. Okay, I'll play that again, especially since it's a short video, so it's not like we're going to be watching a 20-minute video.
Right.
Okay.
And just because I'm getting off doesn't mean you have to. You should find out from your chat what they want you to do.
Oh no, I want to get off like since you are. Hold on.
Okay.
There's an ad playing. That's why I'm hitting mute right
Again.
now. So you guys aren't hearing about the Hello Fresh.
Oh,
Hold
not Amazon again.
on. All right, hold on. Delana, I know what you're laughing at. I know. I'll tell. Hold on. Oh my God, I'm having issues. Why am I having so many issues tonight? Okay, there we go. All right. Can you see the black screen in front of you? The beautiful black screen.
Yes.
All right. Let me know if you can hear it.
Aiden kept knives for protection.
Yes.
Always had a knife on him if he wasn't at school. He would keep his AirPods. He listened to music to try and calm him down. He said that helped him with his anger.
When you say he kept knives, was it usually a different knife? Did he have one that he was partial to that was like his favorite, or
He had like a few. He didn't really say he had a favorite. He just had knives, and sometimes he'd bring one or another, or
did he say any? Did he have? I mean, when you say knives, we're talking like
just like pocket knives,
like folding
I guess.
pocket knives.
Yeah, like they would fold up and.
Okay. If you had to describe any of them that you can remember, could you tell me about what they looked like?
Yeah. Well, there was mainly 2 that he would have on him, and it was one that his stepdad gave him. It was like a kind of gray, black, like army-looking one. It had a skull on it, maybe like an orange skull on it or something, and he called it Picker.
Okay.
Because it had, I guess, teeth. The knife had.
You mean like it had serrated?
So I wanted to pause it there because remember you kept talking about a knife and those teeth. Remember? And no one, you were like, you guys don't know what I'm talking about. But she's explaining it here about the knife and the teeth. Do you remember that? But I think it was Idaho. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, people in chat probably don't know what we're talking about, but I just
It
wanted to
was Idaho.
Yeah. Okay.
Did Edge?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he have any others that he kept?
Yeah.
Normally.
There was another one. It was like yellow, and it was like it was made out of wood, I think.
Okay.
And he called that one.
Did it look like this?
Yeah.
Did it look like it, or is that the same type of knife?
That's the same knife.
Okay. And just so you understand, I'm holding a folding buck knife.
Yeah.
With a brass frame, right? And a wooden handle. Okay. So you've seen him carry a knife like that?
Yeah.
Pretty commonly.
Yeah, it was mainly those 2.
Okay.
He broke one of them.
And I think I cut you off. You were saying he called it something.
He called one Picker, and then he called that one Poker.
This mistake is costing Amazon.
I'm talking again. I'm like, oh no, the ad. I'm like, I got it, but we still have the guy's face. But okay. All right. So what do you think about the girlfriend?
I think she's a very lucky little girl.
Right? It's interesting. I wonder if he ever like thought about doing anything to her.
Yeah, and I wonder if, I don't know. I wonder if he kind of fascinated her or something, being all with these knives and everything, you know? I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
possible. And I wonder if like with his mom, how I was saying, like you might think your kid's weird or creepy, but you don't actually think they're gonna kill someone. Maybe she didn't actually but he said that he had this plan. Maybe she didn't actually think he was gonna go through with it. I mean, do you think that she thought he would actually go through with it? Just like with kids in schools, I don't want to say
His
that.
girlfriend or his mom?
Well, I was talking about the mom, but now I'm talking about the girlfriend. Do you think she actually thought that he would go through with it? Because I know that he told her the plan too, apparently. Like his friends, his
It
girlfriend.
depends on how close of a girlfriend she was. I mean, you know, some girls just like really bad boys. She might have thought, oh, he's going to do something, but not that bad, or
Yeah.
something.
Are they still together? I don't think that they're still together. I really highly doubt that. But I'm
But
sure he's gonna get a lot of girlfriend fan mail in jail if he's allowed. Yeah, I'm sure girls are gonna be writing. There were so many people on his Instagram when this first happened that were like saying how much they loved him, like guys and girls.
I know, isn't it crazy? I just don't. I mean, okay, the brain and all of that, the psychopathy and everything behind all of that fascinates me. And, but I'm not in love. I'm not in love. I can't understand somebody wanting to be. Whoa.
Yeah.
These kids don't know what they're asking for.
Yeah. And Allison Faye said, I heard he acted out stabbing her and his best friend prior. I didn't hear about the best friend, but I have heard about with her that he did like pretend he'd come up behind her.
Right.
So
I
sorry,
think she
Anna.
might have known. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was saying Anna said she just got here, but we're about to end it. So I'm sorry, but thanks for coming. Lady
She
V,
could
did
have
you
known. She could have known, but but she was scared to say anything.
Yeah, it is possible. Thank you for being here. Oh, how romantic. Yeah, right. Oh, Stephanie said I didn't know that. Yeah, that was in one of the reports. I don't know. Well, I don't know about the friend. I never heard that. So that's crazy about the friend. And Candace, good morning, because she just said she woke up. But yeah, Lady V, did you finish your nail? Lady V, Marco.
Hello. I dropped off.
Oh, I didn't see you drop off, but I guess you did vocally.
Yeah, I did.
But I mean, I could play one more, but it's if you're done with your nail, I'm good to end it because we just hit over 3 hours. I think 3 is a good. I know you're like you can go longer, but I think this is a good spot to end it.
No, I was just letting you know, hey, relax. If people start leaving and you see that and hey, apparently they're finished with this subject, that's one thing. But otherwise, just relax, have fun. That's what we're here for, is to hear you talk.
Oh, thank you. I think more are starting to come in now, but sorry, guys.
See, I told you there is a late
show is over, but
there is
I
a
hope,
late night show you could do here and get a lot of people in there.
yeah. But thank you so much for coming up, Lady V. Thank you so much, Jay, for coming up. Avery, Shay, you guys are all awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to drop down, guys. I love you all. I'll catch you next time.
All right. Have a good day at school
Thank you,
tomorrow.
Beth.
Bye. I feel
Bye-bye,
funny
Mom.
saying that, but bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, let me see who we have here. All right, good night, Jay. All right, Liza, thank you for being here. Anna, Allison, Tad, Stephanie, Princess Megan, Elsa, Mama Bear 2, Mrs. Death Monkey, Ausane, Angel's Lie to Keep Control, Nora's Grandma, Upside Down, Delana, always the most amazing. Let me see. Candace, thank you for being here. Wilby, Ellie, KW10. I think that I have I probably don't, but Graceful, oh yeah, you've been so helpful tonight with all of your comments. Clumsy Clairvoyance, I'm so happy that you can make it. I'm losing my voice, so it's good to end it too. But all right, thank you so much. If I missed you, Misfit, thank you for being here. Everyone, thank you so much. Max Smith, I hope that you all have a great night. And if you could put up some blue hearts for Tristan, that would be great. And again, I am really happy that her family does not have to go over a trial. So I will be covering the rest of it. I believe that they said the 23rd at 9 a.m. I think that might be 6 a.m. my time. So don't expect me to be going live at 6 a.m. That's not happening. But I will go live that day to cover it. All right, everyone. Thanks for the blue hearts. Have a good night. Oh, in my next live, so I'm going to do the 27 Club. I'm not sure if you've heard of that. So I have that plan for Friday, but I may make it sooner, possibly. But it's planned for Friday, but it may be sooner. All right. Bye, everyone.